Hello friends. Welcome to the Saiyan What Ifs. How are you all? So we are back with an interesting movie on what if Goku kept the Majin seal forever. Also be sure to subscribe and like this video. Now let's begin. Chapter 1. The Eternal Mark. The World Martial Arts Tournament arena gleamed under the midday sun, thousands of spectators are oaring as the preliminary matches concluded. Goku stood at the edge of the fighters' pavilion, eyes closed, sensing the familiar energies around him. Vegeta's volcanic power, Gohan's disciplined strength, Piccolo's meditative focus, all present, all prepared for what should have been a friendly competition. Something felt wrong. A whisper of alien consciousness brushed against his mind, so faint he nearly dismissed it. The sensation reminded him of King Kai's telepathy, but colder, calculating, probing for weakness with surgical precision. "You've been quiet," Vegeta observed, arms crossed as he approached. The Saiyan Prince had changed since their first encounter on Earth years ago, but his eyes still carried that predatory assessment, the constant calculation of strength differentials. "Just focusing," Goku replied, offering the expected smile that everyone anticipated from Earth's greatest defender. The smile that sometimes felt like a mask. Vegeta's eyes narrowed. "Something's disturbing the air. You feel it too." It wasn't a question. Goku nodded, scanning the crowd again. "Like something watching us, testing us." "Dad," Gohan called, approaching with Vital at his side. Young man had grown so much since Cell's defeat, now standing tall in his blue GI. "They're drawing the match up soon." Goku's smile became genuine at the sight of his son. Pride swelled within him. Gohan had surpassed him once. Could again with proper training. If only the boy hadn't abandoned his fighting spirit for books and studies. If only he hadn't wasted his potential. The thought came unbidden, startling Goku with its uncharacteristic bitterness. He pushed it away, confused by its presence in his consciousness. "Earth to Dad," Gohan waved a hand before his father's face. "You okay?" "Yeah, just hungry I guess." Goku laughed, rubbing the back of his head. The familiar excuse, the expected Goku response that everyone accepted without question. Always the simple-minded Saiyan. The happy fool, the willing sacrifice. Again, the bitter thought surfaced. Goku frowned, turning away from his son to scan the arena. "Actually, I'll catch up with you guys in a minute. I want to check something out." Without waiting for a response, he strode away, following the strange psychic disturbance to its source. The whispering in his mind grew louder with each step. "They take you for granted, Goku. The perfect hero, the willing martyr. Who's there?" he muttered under his breath, moving past food stalls and souvenir vendors. "You've died for them, sacrificed years of your life, abandoned your family to train, to protect, and what thanks do you receive? They expect it, demand it. Your sacrifice is their entitlement." Goku stopped, disoriented by the voice's accuracy. Hadn't he wondered the same during lonely nights in other world? Training endlessly while life continued without him on Earth. "That's not why I protect them," he argued with the voice, earning strange looks from passing spectators. "No. Then why did you stay dead after Cell? Why abandon your wife and sons? Was it truly to protect Earth, or to escape the burden of being its eternal guardian?" Goku's steps faltered as he reached a secluded area behind the main stadium. The whispering intensified, becoming almost visible, a purple miasma swirling in the shadows. "Show yourself," he demanded, dropping into fighting stance. The air shimmered, revealing a diminutive figure with wrinkled yellow skin and bulbous eyes. A taller, muscular red-skinned being stood protectively at his side. "Impressive that you sensed me, Saiyan," the smaller creature said, voice matching the whispers in Goku's mind. "I am Babidi. This is my associate, Dabura. You're projecting thoughts into my head," Goku accused, energy gathering in his palm. "Stop it now, or what?" Babidi smiled. "You'll destroy me, become the aggressor, the villain. How unlike the perfect hero of Earth." Dabura stepped forward, demonic energy radiating from his imposing frame. "Master Babidi requires energy for his purpose. Your power would be most satisfactory." Goku assessed the Demon King with practiced eyes. "Powerful, yes, perhaps at Cell's level. Nothing he couldn't handle." But the smaller creature, This Babidi, something about his energy signature disturbed Goku profoundly. Whatever you're planning stops now, Goku declared. The tournament's full of innocent people. Always the innocents first, Babidi nodded. Never yourself. Tell me, Goku, when was the last time you fought for yourself? For your own desires, your own ambitions. Fighting isn't it though? Babidi interrupted. You're saying, combat is your birthright, your pleasure, your purpose. Yet you've trained yourself to be Earth's domesticated guardian. Their tame attack dog, unleashed only when they're threatened. Goku's energy flared involuntarily. You don't know anything about me. I know everything about you, Babidi countered. Tapping his temple, your mind is an open book to one with my abilities. I see your resentments, your frustrations, the darkest thoughts you hide even from yourself. The air around them thickened with tension. In the distance, the tournament announcer's voice called fighters to the selection area. They're waiting for their hero, Babidi smirked. Best run along. Goku hesitated, torn between confronting this obvious threat and returning to his friends. This isn't over. Indeed not, Babidi agreed, eyes gleaming with anticipation. We've only just begun. The tournament selection proceeded normally. Names drawn, matchups determined. Goku found himself paired against a young human fighter for the opening round. Nothing challenging, nothing worthy of his true power. When did you become so dismissive of human strength? Asterisk. The thought troubled him as he half listened to the tournament rules, eyes scanning for Babidi and Dabura. They'd vanished after their conversation. But their energy signatures lingered nearby, observing. Waiting. Goku, you're distracted, Piccolo noted, the Namekian's keen eyes missing nothing. What happened? Briefly, Goku explained the encounter. Watching concern spread across his friend's green features. Babidi, the name is familiar, Piccolo frowned. Supreme Kai mentioned a powerful wizard causing disturbances in distant galaxies. Supreme Kai is here. Goku's attention sharpened. If the highest deity of their universe had personally intervened, the situation was more serious than he'd thought. Piccolo nodded. Ed toward two figures standing apart from the other fighters, one tall and muscular with reddish skin, the other shorter with lavender complexion and white mohawk. They registered for the tournament to track an energy signature to Earth. I suspect your Babidi is their target. Goku approached the divine beings, bowing respectfully. Supreme Kai, I believe we have a common enemy. The deity's eyes widened in recognition. Son Goku, your reputation reaches even the sacred realm of the Kais. Yes, Babidi's presence here is deeply troubling. He seeks to resurrect a creature of unimaginable destructive power, Majin Buu. Another universal threat. Goku sighed, a strange weariness settling in his bones. Always another battle, always another sacrifice required of you. Asterisk. Supreme Kai studied him curiously. You've encountered Babidi already. Briefly. He tried to get inside my head somehow. Alarm flashed across the deity's features. His magic works by amplifying darkness in the heart. If he targeted you specifically. Quote, there's no darkness in Goku's heart, Kibito, the Supreme Kai's attendant, stated confidently. His reputation as Earth's pure-hearted defender is known throughout the cosmos. Pure-hearted, perfect, flawless, the impossible standard you can never question. Asterisk. Goku forced a laugh. Well, nobody's perfect. Supreme Kai's penetrating gaze made him uncomfortable. Indeed, every heart contains shadows, Goku. Even yours. The question is whether they're strong enough for Babidi to exploit. The tournament bell rang, calling the first competitors. Goku excused himself, thoughts turbulent as he prepared for his match. A lifetime of battle, a lifetime of sacrifice. And for what? So they can cheer while you dance like their puppet. Asterisk. Stop it, he growled to himself, shaking his head to clear the invasive thoughts. His opponent awaited in the ring, young, eager, hopelessly outmatched. Goku went through the motions, holding back so drastically it felt like mockery. The crowd roared at every exchange, impressed by moves that were mere shadows of his true capability. They have no concept of your real power. What you could do if unleashed. Asterisk. The match ended predictably. Victory. Applause. Back to the waiting area where his friends congratulated him on the easy win. Goku nodded, smiled, played his part. Vegeta watched him with narrowed eyes. Something's wrong with you, Kakarot. Not a question, an accusation. Just focused on this Babidi threat, Goku deflected. No. Vegeta stepped closer, lowering his voice. Something's different. Your energy is fluctuating. Before Goku could respond, screams erupted from the main stadium. Both Saiyans turned to see spectators fleeing in terror as Dabura materialized in the center ring, demonic power crackling around him. Fighters of Earth, the Demon King's voice boomed across the arena. My master requires energy for his great working. You will provide it, willingly or not. The Z fighters moved as one, positioning themselves between the demon and the fleeing civilians. Supreme Kai and Kibito approached from the opposite direction, boxing Dabura between them. Your master's plan ends here, Supreme Kai declared. The abomination will remain sealed. Dabura smiled, revealing pointed teeth. Bold words from a failed guardian. Where were you when Babidi first unleashed Majin Buu? Hiding in your sacred realm while worlds burned. Supreme Kai flinched at the accusation. Dabura seized the opportunity, launching forward with supernatural speed. His spear-like hand pierced Ed Kibito's chest before anyone could react. No, Supreme Kai cried as his attendant collapsed, body turning to stone from the demon's touch. Chaos erupted. Piccolo and Krillin charged Dabura, only to suffer the same petrifying fate from a spray of the demon's saliva. Gohan and Vegeta attacked from opposite sides, forcing Dabura back. Goku prepared to join the fray when Babidi's voice slithered into his mind again. They fight while you watch. Always the last resort, the final sacrifice. Why not show them your true power now? Why hold back until others have fallen? Asterisk. Get out of my head, Goku gritted, clutching his temples. They've made you doubt your Saiyan heritage. Made you ashamed of your warrior's heart. The desire for battle isn't evil, Goku, it's your nature. Your birthright. Asterisk. Vegeta crashed into the stadium wall, momentarily stunned by Dabura's counterattack. Gohan stood alone against the Demon King, power flaring but clearly outmatched. Something snapped in Goku's restraint. Power erupted from him in a golden wave as he transformed directly to Super Saiyan 2, electricity crackling around his aura. He teleported into the battle, appearing between Gohan and Dabura with such speed that the demon's attack passed through his afterimage. Dad, Gohan gasped, surprised by his father's sudden intensity. Goku didn't respond. His fist connected with Dabura's jaw, sending the Demon King flying through the stadium wall and into the city beyond. Without waiting, he pursued, leaving shocked allies behind. Yes, show them your real power. No more holding back, no more playing the humble hero. Asterisk. The voice encouraged as Goku pummeled Dabura through building after building, each strike releasing years of suppressed frustration. The demon fought back valiantly, but against an unleashed Super Saiyan 2. He stood little chance. Enough. Dabura gasped, bloodied and broken against the rubble of what had once been a city block. You've proven your superior strength. Goku halted, fist drawn back for another blow. What was he doing? This wasn't like him. This unrestrained violence, this enjoyment of domination. He lowered his hand, backing away. Leave Earth. Never return. Dabura's defeated expression suddenly shifted to a triumphant smile. Perfect. Before Goku could react, a bolt of foul energy struck him from behind. He turned to see Babidi hovering there, hands extended, chanting in an ancient language. The energy enveloped Goku, seeping into his skin like black lightning. What's happening? Goku growled, dropping to one knee as pain lanced through his body. You've shown me the darkness in your heart, Babidi gloated. Resentment, frustration, the desire for acknowledgement, for freedom from responsibility. Perfect material for my spell. The pain intensified, centering on Goku's forehead. It felt like something was being carved into his flesh with a white-hot blade. He screamed, golden aura fluctuating wildly. Dad, Gohan's voice penetrated the agony as his son arrived with Supreme Kai, Vegeta, and the others close behind. Stay back, Goku warned, feeling something dangerous building within him. His energy was changing, darkening, becoming infused with Babidi's malevolent power. The Majin seal, Supreme Kai whispered in horror. He's placing the Majin seal on Goku's soul. What does that mean? Gohan demanded, taking a step toward his suffering father. It means, Vegeta answered, expression grim, that Babidi is turning your father's own power against him, against us all. Goku's scream became a roar as the transformation completed. The symbol, M, burned itself into his forehead, glowing with unholy light. His golden hair darkened to a burnt crimson at the roots, black veins spreading through the Super Saiyan aura. Yes, Babidi exulted. Rise, Majin Goku, rise and serve your master. Goku rose slowly, body crackling with transformed energy. His eyes opened, revealing pupils that had shifted from teal to a deep violet. The M on his forehead pulsed in sync with his heartbeat. Serve, you. Goku's voice had gained a resonant echo, as if two voices spoke simultaneously. He looked at his hands, flexing fingers crackling with darkened ki. Your power is now mine to command, Babidi explained, confidence radiating from his diminutive form. With it, we'll revive Majin Buu and reshape the universe. A slow, unfamiliar smile spread across Goku's face, predatory, calculating, nothing like his usual expression. My power is mine alone. Before anyone could react, Goku vanished in Ared with his hand around Babidi's throat. The wizard choked, eyes bulging in surprise. Impossible, he gasped. The seal ensures obedience. I've never been good at following orders, Goku replied, voice cold. With his free hand, he drove a fist through Babidi's chest. The wizard's death scream echoed across the devastated cityscape. Goku released the lifeless body, letting it fall to the rubble below. Dad, Gohan approached cautiously. Are you okay? Goku turned to his son, energy still transformed by the Majin seal. I'm free. Free. Supreme Kai stepped forward. Goku, the Majin spell corrupts everything it touches. With Babidi's death, it should dissipate, but he frowned, studying the still glowing mark. Something's wrong. The seal remains active. Dabura struggled to his feet, backing away. This wasn't part of the plan. Without Master Babidi to control you, there will be no control, Goku stated simply. He raised a hand toward the Demon King. A blast of purple-tinged energy erupted from his palm, vaporizing Dabura instantly. Shocked silence fell over the group. Goku had always fought to defeat, rarely to kill, and never with such casual disregard. The spell must be removed, Supreme Kai declared, approaching Goku with hands raised. Before it permanently alters your nature. Goku's eyes narrowed. And if I choose to keep it? That's the spell talking, Vegeta interjected. You're Earth's defender, Kakarot. Its pure-hearted protector. A harsh laugh escaped Goku's lips. Pure-hearted, is that what you really believe, Vegeta? That I have no darkness? No resentments? He turned to Gohan. No regrets? Gohan flinched at his father's penetrating gaze. Dad, this isn't you. Isn't it? Goku countered. Or is it simply a me you've never been allowed to see? The warrior beneath the savior. Supreme Kai approached slowly. Goku, please, let me attempt to remove the seal before it's too late. Goku considered for a moment, then nodded. Try if you must. The deity placed his hands on either side of Goku's face, focusing divine energy on the Majin mark. Light flared between them, momentarily blinding the onlookers. When it faded, Supreme Kai stumbled back, expression shocked. Impossible, he whispered. The seal, it's fused with your life force. Removing it would kill you. Convenient, Goku remarked, touching the M emblem. It seems we're stuck with each other. What does this mean? Gohan asked, looking between his father and the Supreme Kai. It means, Vegeta answered grimly, that your father now possesses the power of Majin transformation. Permanently. Not just the power, Supreme Kai corrected. The influence. The Majin seal amplifies darker emotions, darker desires. It doesn't create evil where none exists, but it magnifies hidden shadows. Goku flexed his hands, feeling the transformed energy flowing through him. It felt right, natural, as if a constraint had been removed rather than a corruption added. We should return to the lookout, he decided. Den might have insights the Supreme Kai lacks. The casual dismissal of the deity's abilities raised eyebrows, but no one argued. One by one, the fighters took to the air, leaving the devastated city block behind. Goku lingered, surveying the destruction he'd participated in creating. Not so different from Cell or Frieza now, are you? Destroying cities, killing enemies, asterisk. The thought should have disturbed him. Instead, he found himself nodding in acknowledgement. Perhaps he wasn't so different from those he'd fought. Hey, perhaps the line between hero and villain had always been thinner than he'd admitted. The lookout floated serenely above the earth, unchanged by the chaos below. Dend and Mr. Popo rushed forward as the group landed. Expressions alarmed. Goku, Dend exclaimed. Your energy signature, it's changed. Goku nodded. Babiti's parting gift. He touched the Majin symbol, still pulsing with dark energy. Dend's eyes widened in recognition. The Majin seal. But how? Supreme Kai explained the situation while Dend examined the mark more closely. The young Namekian guardian frowned, troubled by what he sensed. The seal has integrated with your key pathways, he confirmed. It's as if it's become a part of your natural energy flow. Removing it would be like removing part of your life force. So I'm stuck with it. Goku concluded. Not a question. A statement of fact, delivered without the distress such news should carry. Can you control its influence? Piccolo asked. Recently stirred from his petrified state by Den's healing. Goku considered the question, looking inward at the transformed energy swirling through his being. It doesn't feel like something separate to control. It feels like an amplification of aspects that were always there. That's what makes Majin energy so insidious, Supreme Kai explained. It doesn't create darkness, it finds existing shadows and brings them to dominance. What shadows? Krillin asked, voice small. Goku's the most pure-hearted person I know. A sardonic smile crossed Goku's face. Pure-hearted, everyone's favorite description. His eyes found Gohan's. Did you never wonder why I stayed dead after Cell? Why I chose training in Otherworld over watching you grow up? Gohan flinched. You said it was to protect Earth from enemies attracted by your power. Quote, a convenient truth, Goku acknowledged. But incomplete. I stayed because I was tired, Gohan. Tired of being Earth's perpetual sacrifice. Tired of setting I'd my Saiyan nature to be the hero everyone needed. Shocked silence greeted this admission. That doesn't sound like you, Krillin finally said. Doesn't it? Vegeta challenged unexpectedly. Kakarot is Saiyan, whether you soft-hearted humans remember it or not. Battle is in our blood. The constant suppression of his true nature to play Earth's guardian, even I recognize the toll it took. Goku nodded at Vegeta's understanding. For all their differences, the prince understood aspects of him that his Earth friends never could. So what now? Piccolo asked, practical as always. With Babidi dead, is the threat of Majin Buu eliminated? Supreme Kai shook his head. Babidi was gathering energy to unlock Buu's containment shell. With his death, that particular method is thwarted, but the monster remains a potential threat. Quote, where is this containment shell? Goku asked, interest sharpening his gaze. Hidden, Supreme Kai answered cautiously. And best left that way. Goku's eyes narrowed. You don't trust me with its location. You think the Majin seal will drive me to release Buu myself. Can you honestly say it won't? The deity challenged. The question hung in the air, unanswerable. Goku couldn't predict how this transformation would affect his future decisions. He only knew that something fundamental had shifted in his worldview, priorities rearranging themselves like pieces on a cosmic chessboard. Goku, a feminine voice called from the edge of the lookout. Chi-Chi stood there, having been brought by Yamcha after news of the tournament's disruption spread. Her eyes widened at the sight of the M emblazoned on her husband's forehead. What happened to you? He approached his wife slowly, aware of how different his energy must feel to her. Chi-Chi had always been surprisingly sensitive to key changes despite her lack of formal training. I've been changed, he said simply. Marked by something called Majin energy. Her hand reached toward his forehead, hovering just above the symbol. Does it hurt? No, he answered truthfully. It feels clarifying. Chi-Chi's expression shifted from concern to wariness. She'd known him long enough to recognize the subtle differences in his stance, his voice, the look in his eyes. Changed how? I'm seeing things differently, Goku admitted. Priorities, responsibilities, what I owe to others versus what I owe to myself. Her eyes searched his. And what about your family? Where do we fit in these new priorities? The question struck deeper than Goku expected. Family had always been a complex concept for him. treasured but frequently set aside for greater responsibilities. Now, with the Majin influence reshaping his thoughts, he found himself reassessing those choices. I don't know yet, he answered honestly. I need time to understand what I've become. Chi-Chi's expression hardened, a familiar shield against emotional pain. I see. She stepped back, creating distance between them. When you figure it out, let us know. The dismissal was clear. Goku watched her walk away, surprised by his own muted emotional response. Before, such rejection would have triggered immediate attempts to reassure her. Now, he found himself accepting the space as necessary. She'll come around, Krillin offered awkwardly. Once we figure out how to remove the seal. If it can be removed, Piccolo corrected. When? Gohan insisted. We'll find a way. Goku turned from his wife's retreating figure. And if I choose to keep it? The question silenced them all. It was Vegeta who finally responded. Arms crossed, an expression unreadable. Then we'll have to see what kind of Majin you become, Kakarot. Not all who wear the mark become monsters. But none remain who they were, Supreme Kai added solemnly. The chamber beneath the lookout had been prepared for him, a place of containment should his control falter. Goku found the precaution both reasonable and mildly insulting. He sat cross-legged in the center, exploring the transformed energy flowing through his pathways. The Majin seal had altered his ki in fundamental ways. It flowed darker, hotter, more responsive to emotional states than conscious direction. When he summoned energy to his palm, it manifested with purple-black veining through the familiar gold. More significantly, it responded to different triggers. Righteous anger had always fueled his transformations before. Now, pride, ambition, even selfish desire seemed equally effective catalysts. The power felt liberating. A tentative knock interrupted his meditation. Gohan stood at the doorway, uncertainty written across features so similar to his own. May I come in? His son asked formally, as if addressing a stranger. Of course, Goku gestured to the space across from him. You're always welcome. Gohan sat, studying his father's transformed appearance. The M symbol pulsed faintly on Goku's forehead, visible even when he powered down to base form. Does it hurt? Gohan asked, echoing his mother's earlier question. No. Goku smiled slightly. Everyone asks that first. What does it feel like? Goku considered the question carefully. Like seeing color after a lifetime of grayscale. Emotions, desires, ambitions of always suppressed or denied, they're vibrant now. Valid. The desire to fight, Gohan guessed. Among others. Goku studied his son. You never understood that part of me, did you? The Saiyan joy in battle. Gohan shook his head. I've never fought because I wanted to. Only because I had to. I know, Goku acknowledged. I pushed you anyway. Tried to mold you into a warrior when your heart sought knowledge instead. That was selfish of me. Surprise flashed across Gohan's face at the admission. You were preparing me to protect Earth. Was I? Goku questioned. Or was I trying to create a successor who shared my values rather than forging his own? The question hung between them, uncomfortable in its insight. Gohan looked away first. What happens now? He finally asked. Will you stay here? Let us help you overcome this. Goku shook his head. There's no overcoming this, Gohan. The seal is permanent, a part of me now. The question isn't how to remove it, but how to integrate it. To become something new that honors both what I was and what I'm becoming. And what is that? Gohan pressed. What are you becoming? Quote, I don't know yet, Goku admitted. But I need space to discover it. Away from expectations. Away from being Earth's perfect defender. Alarm flashed across Gohan's features. You're leaving. Again. The accusation in that single word, again, struck deeper than Goku expected. Yes, he had a history of departures. Training journeys. Death. Self-imposed exile in space. Always justified by greater purposes, but departures nonetheless. Not immediately, he assured his son. First, I need to understand these new powers. Their limits. Their consequences. Gohan nodded, not entirely reassured. Supreme Kai mentioned something called Majin Buu. A creature Babidi wanted to revive using your energy. A destroyer of worlds, Goku confirmed. Sealed away eons ago. Are you drawn to find it? Gohan asked carefully. The Supreme Kai seems concerned about that possibility. Goku considered the question honestly. Did the Majin energy within him seek connection with Buu? He searched his transformed consciousness and found curiosity. Not compulsion. I'm interested, he admitted. But not compelled. Whatever Babidi planned, it died with him. Relief visibly washed over Gohan's features. Good. That's good. They sat in silence for several moments, the air between them heavy with unasked questions and unspoken concerns. I won't become a villain, Gohan, Goku finally said, addressing his son's unvoiced fear. The Majin seal hasn't erased who I am. Just reshaped priorities of long suppressed. Like what? Like acknowledging, gee, that I've given enough of my life to Earth's protection. That sometimes, I want to fight for the joy of battle, not just necessity. That my Saiyan heritage isn't something to be constantly suppressed in favor of Earth's gentler values. Gohan absorbed this, expression troubled. That sounds like Vegeta talking. A small smile crossed Goku's face. Perhaps I'm finally understanding his perspective better. He reached out, placing a hand on his son's shoulder. But I'm still your father. Still Goku. Just expanded. The reassurance seemed to help, though doubt lingered in Gohan's eyes. Mom's really upset. I know, Goku acknowledged. Chi-Chi has always loved the man she believed me to be. The question is whether she can accept who I actually am, who I've always been beneath the surface. And if she can't, Goku's expression grew solemn. Then hard choices lie ahead for both of us. 3 days passed while Goku remained in the Lookout's isolation chamber, exploring the Majin transformation. The others visited regularly, Piccolo with pragmatic questions, Krillin with awkward attempts at normalcy, Vegeta with silent observation. Supreme Kai came once, departing troubled by what he witnessed. On the fourth morning, Goku emerged changed. The Majin mark remained prominent on his forehead, but he'd achieved a balance between its dark influence and his core nature. His key signature had stabilized into something new, neither purely Saiyan nor purely Majin, but a fusion of both. You've integrated it, Piccolo observed as Goku joined them on the Lookout's main platform. Faster than expected. I've had practice adapting to new forms, Goku replied. From Kaioken to Super Saiyan, my body has been repeatedly transformed. This is just deeper and permanent, Supreme Kai added, having returned to monitor the situation. Though I'm impressed by your control. Vegeta studied him critically. You've stabilized the energy, but the influence remains. I can see it in your eyes, Kakarot. The Majin awakened something in you. Goku nodded, not denying it. A willingness to acknowledge my own desires. My own ambitions. And what are those ambitions? Supreme Kai asked cautiously. Before Goku could answer, a new energy signature appeared. Everyone turned as a figure materialized at the Lookout's edge. Tall, feminine, with bronze skin and wild crimson hair. Her armor resembled traditional Saiyan design but incorporated unfamiliar elements. Most striking were her eyes, pitch black with ruby irises, scanning the gathered warriors with predatory assessment. Found you, she declared, gaze fixing on Goku. The dimensional disturbance centers on you. Vegeta stepped forward, instantly alert. Who are you? Your armor suggests Saiyan, but Zara. She introduced herself curtly. Last daughter of the Shadow Saiyan clan. And you, she pointed at Goku, have torn a hole between dimensions with your transformation. Goku approached the newcomer, NSING, something familiar yet alien in her energy signature. Shadow Saiyan clan. I thought all Saiyans lived on planet Vegeta before its destruction. A harsh laugh escaped her. Your history is incomplete. My ancestors escaped Vegeta's gravitational collapse centuries before Frieza's attack, becoming trapped in a pocket dimension where time flows differently. Impossible, Vegeta declared. No, Saiyan possessed dimensional travel technology. Not technology, Zara corrected. Ability. The dimensional fold technique, lost to your mainstream bloodlines but preserved in ours. She turned her attention back to Goku. Studying the Majin mark. That seal. It's causing energy ripples across the dimensional barriers. Supreme Kai stepped forward. The Majin energy. It must resonate across reality planes. Zara nodded. It calls to similar energies in other dimensions. Including mine. She circled Goku, assessing him like a predator might assess both prey and potential rivals simultaneously. You're the one from the prophecy. Prophecy? Goku questioned. The Crimson Herald who would unite the scattered Saiyan bloodlines, Zara explained. One marked by darkness yet walking in light. One whose power would tear the veils between worlds. Skepticism crossed Vegeta's features. Convenient that your mysterious prophecy appears just as Kakarot undergoes transformation. Zara ignored him, attention fixed on Goku. Your energies are still stabilizing. The dimensional tears will worsen unless you learn to control them. And you're offering to teach me. Goku guessed. Self-interest, she acknowledged bluntly. Your instability threatens my dimension too. Besides, a predatory smile crossed her features. I've never encountered a Saiyan of your power level before. Training together would be educational. The proposition hung in the air. Goku found himself intrigued. Not just by the dimensional implications, but by the prospect of learning techniques his Saiyan heritage had never offered him before. The Majin energy within him resonated with Zara's alien ki in a way that suggested compatibility. Wait, Gohan interrupted, having remained silent until now. You can seriously be considering leaving with her. We don't know anything about her or this supposed dimension. Your son makes a valid point, Supreme Kai agreed. The Majin transformation is barely stabilized. Adding dimensional travel could create catastrophic instability. Zara crossed her arms. Or accelerate his mastery. The shadow dimension contains energies similar to this Majin power. Our ancestors harnessed it for centuries. It's too dangerous, Piccolo stated flatly. Life is dangerous, Goku countered, the Majin influence evident in his tone. Stagnation is worse. Tension crackled between them. Goku felt the familiar pressure. Everyone looking to him to make the responsible choice, the safe choice, the choice that put others first. Always. I need to speak with Chi-Chi first, he decided. Then I'll consider your offer, Zara. The female Saiyan nodded, seemingly satisfied for now. The dimensional tear will remain stable for approximately 3 of your Earth days before beginning to collapse. Decide by then. Quote. She stepped back, fingers forming unfamiliar patterns. Space rippled around her, and she vanished into what appeared to be a pocket of folded reality. You can't trust her, Vegeta stated immediately. If she is truly Saiyan, then deception comes as naturally as breathing. Says the Saiyan Prince, Krillin muttered. Exactly, Vegeta retorted without shame. I recognize my own kind's tactics. Goku remained focused on the space where Zara had disappeared, sensing the faint energy signature of the dimensional tear. The Majin power within him resonated with it, drawn to its otherworldly nature. I need to understand these new abilities, he said finally. Their full potential, their limitations. Zara offers knowledge we don't possess. At what cost? Gohan challenged. Leaving Earth undefended again. Abandoning your family again. The accusation stung, but differently than before. The Majin influence dampened guilt while amplifying justification. Earth has many defenders now, Goku responded. Including you, Gohan. You exceeded my power once. You could again, with proper training. That's not the point. It is precisely the point, Goku countered. You're thinking like humans, seeing only abandonment where I see opportunity. If these dimensional pathways exist, if other Saiyan bloodlines survived, don't you understand what that means? Enlighten us, Piccolo requested, voice neutral. It means expansion, growth, new techniques, new challenges. Goku's eyes gleamed with excitement that bordered on obsession. It may, I don't have to be the last line of defense anymore. We could have allies across dimensions. Supreme Kai shook his head. Or you could destabilize the barriers between realities and cause multiversal collapse. A risk worth exploring carefully, Goku acknowledged. Not dismissing outright. The gathered warriors exchanged troubled glances. This calculating assessment of cosmic risk versus reward didn't sound like the Goku they knew, the fighter who typically charged forward on instinct and moral certainty. I need to speak with Chi-Chi, Goku repeated, ending the debate temporarily. Whatever comes next, she deserves to hear it from me directly. The Sun family home stood unchanged in its mountain clearing, a peaceful contrast to the cosmic complications surrounding its patriarch. Goku landed softly in the yard, sensing Chi-Chi inside with Goten. The young boy's energy signature flared with excitement at sensing his father's approach, but even that familiar joy felt different to Goku's transformed senses. Chi-Chi opened the door before he could knock, expression guarded. 3 days had given her time to prepare for this conversation, to armor herself against whatever changes the Majin mark had wrought in her husband. You've decided something, she stated immediately, reading his posture. After decades together, she knew the signs of Goku having reached a resolution. May I come in? He requested formally. The politeness itself was telling. The old Goku would have entered with casual familiarity, oblivious to emotional undercurrents. This calculated respect indicated awareness of boundaries, and the possibility of crossing them. Daddy. Goten barreled into the room, stopping short at the sight of the mark on his father's forehead. Whoa, you got a tattoo. Despite everything, Goku smiled. Something like that, son. A very special kind that gives me new abilities. Chi-Chi's lips thinned at this simplified explanation. Goten, go to your room for a while. Your father and I need to talk. Quote. The boy looked between his parents, sensing the tension even without key perception. Are you guys fighting? No, Goku assured him, kneeling to eye level. But sometimes adults need to have serious conversations about changes. Like when you started school, remember? Reluctantly, Goten nodded and retreated, casting curious glances back at his father's marked forehead. When they were alone, Chi-Chi gestured to the kitchen table. They sat across from each other, the familiar setting highlighting how unfamiliar they had become to one another. You've mastered it, she observed, studying his composed demeanor. Whatever this Majin thing is. Not mastered, Goku corrected. Integrated. There's a difference. Meaning, mastery implies dominance, forcing the energy to submit to my will entirely. Integration means finding balance between what I was and what the Majin offers. He touched the mark reflexively. It's changed me, Chi-Chi. Not by overriding who I am, but by enhancing certain aspects I've always kept suppressed. Like what? She asked, voice carefully neutral. Ambition, pride, desire for acknowledgement. He met her eyes directly. Honesty about what I want versus what others need from me. Chi-Chi absorbed this, hands folded tightly on the table. And what is it you want, Goku? That's so different from before. To explore these new powers fully. To follow the dimensional pathways they're creating. To seek out other Saiyan bloodlines that might have survived across reality planes. There it was, the truth she'd been bracing for. Another departure. Another choosing of battle and adventure over family and stability. With her, Chi-Chi asked sharply. This female Saiyan Gohan told me about. Zara. Goku confirmed. She offers knowledge about dimensional techniques our timelines Saiyans never developed. How convenient. Chi-Chi's voice turned bitter. A mysterious female warrior appears just when you're looking for an excuse to leave again. The accusation was familiar. Chi-Chi had always viewed his training journeys through the lens of abandonment rather than necessity. Before, he might have offered gentle reassurances or simplified explanations. The Majin influenced Goku responded differently. That's unfair, he stated calmly. You've always framed my absences as choices made against you, rather than for greater purposes. Because they were. Chi-Chi's control cracked. You chose to stay dead after Cell. Chose to train Oob instead of watching Goten grow up. Always choosing the next battle. The next challenge over your family. Yes, Goku acknowledged, surprising her. I did. Because something in me has always known that domesticity isn't my true path. That my Saiyan nature requires challenge, growth, battle to be fulfilled. He spread his hands on the table. The Majin seal didn't create that truth. It just made it impossible for me to ignore any longer. Chi-Chi stared at him. Tears gathering but held in check by pride. So what are you saying? That our marriage has been a lie? No. Goku reached for her hand, which she withdrew sharply. Our marriage has been an attempt to reconcile irreconcilable natures. You've wanted stability, security, conventional family life. I've tried to provide that while denying fundamental aspects of who I am. And now you're done trying. The question cut to the heart of everything. Goku considered it with the newfound clarity the Majin influence provided. I'm done pretending, he answered honestly. Done acting as I don't feel the call of battle in my blood. Done suppressing my Saiyan heritage to meet Earth's expectations of normalcy. Tears finally spilled down Chi-Chi's cheeks. And where does that leave us? Me and Goten. That depends on you, Goku replied. I'll always care for you, Chi-Chi. Always protect you and our sons. But I can't promise to be the husband you've wanted, the one who puts family obligations above the warrior's path. You never could, she whispered. I just convinced myself otherwise. The truth hung between them, painful in its clarity. Their marriage had always balanced. On compromise, her accepting his extended absences, him returning to domestic life between battles. The Majin influence had simply stripped away the comfortable illusions they'd maintained. I'll be leaving in 3 days, Goku said gently, to explore the dimensional tear with Zara. I don't know how long I'll be gone. Chi-Chi wiped her tears with angry determination. Or if you'll return at all. I'll return, he promised. But I won't pretend I'll be returning to stay. Not until I've fully understood what I've become. She stood abruptly, moving to the window to compose herself. And Goten, what do I tell him? The truth, Goku suggested, joining her. That his father is exploring new powers, new dimensions. That I'll return with stories and techniques to teach him. He deserves more than occasional visits and combat training, Chi-Chi said bitterly. He deserves a father who's present. Perhaps, Goku acknowledged. But I'm the father he has, Saiyan, warrior, and now Majin marked. I won't lie to him about who and what I am anymore. Chi-Chi turned to face him, studying the unfamiliar determination in his eyes. The Majin mark pulsed softly on his forehead, a visible symbol of the transformation they couldn't reverse. This really is permanent, isn't it? She asked quietly. Not just the mark, the change in you. Goku nodded. The Majin energy has fused with my life force. But more than that, it's given voice to truths I've always known but never fully acknowledged. They stood in silence, the weight of 2 decades together hanging in the balance. Finally, Chi-Chi squared her shoulders, the fighter's daughter reasserting herself through grief. 3 days, she stated. You have 3 days to spend with your son before you leave again. Make them count, Goku. It wasn't acceptance. It wasn't rejection. It was simply acknowledgement of reality, the most Chi-Chi could offer in that moment. Goku nodded, accepting her terms. I will. As if sensing the conclusion of their discussion, Goten's energy signature approached the kitchen. The boy peeked around the doorframe, eyes wide with childish perception. Are you going away again, Dad? He asked directly. Goku knelt to his son's level, no longer shielding him with comforting lies. Yes, Goten. In 3 days, there are new powers I need to understand, new places I need to explore. Because of the mark, Goten reached out tentatively, small fingers hovering near the Majin symbol. Yes, Goku took his son's hand, guiding it to touch the mark. It's changed me in ways I'm still discovering. To Chi-Chi's surprise, Goten nodded with solemn acceptance. Like when I changed into a Super Saiyan. It felt different, like being me but more. The simple wisdom struck Goku forcefully. His youngest son, barely trained, had intuitively understood what the others struggled to accept. Exactly like that, Goku confirmed, smiling genuinely. Being me, but more. Some parts stronger, some parts different. Will you teach me new techniques when you come back? Goten asked hopefully. The best ones, Goku promised, ruffling his son's hair. Things no other fighter on Earth will know. The boy's expression brightened. Unlike his mother, he had Saiyan blood, however diluted. The call of new techniques, new powers, resonated with him on a level Chi-Chi could never fully understand. 3 days, Chi-Chi reminded them both. Starting now, Goku nodded, rising to his feet. Then we'd better make them count. The lookout's platform gleamed in the early morning light as Goku prepared for departure. 3 days had passed in a blur of compressed experiences. Training with Goten, conversations with Gohan, sparring matches with Vegeta, strategic discussions with Piccolo. He'd made his farewells, accepted the mixture of understanding and disappointment from his friends. Now only the journey forward remained. Zara appeared precisely when promised, stepping through a dimension. Altair that rippled like heat haze in the air. She assessed the gathered Z fighters with a warrior's calculating gaze. You've decided, then. She addressed Goku directly, ignoring the others. He nodded, the Majin mark pulsing with anticipation. Over the past days, he'd sensed it responding to the proximity of the dimensional breach, as if recognizing a kindred energy. I'm ready, Supreme Kai stepped forward, expression grave. Goku, I must offer one final warning. The Majin energy within you is still stabilizing. Dimensional travel could destabilize that balance with catastrophic consequences. Your concern is noted. Goku replied formally. The old Goku might have laughed, scratched his head, offered reassurances. This new iteration acknowledged the risk while firmly asserting his choice. How long will you be gone? Gohan asked, standing with Goten beside him. Chi-Chi had chosen not to attend this departure. Their private goodbye the night before had contained all that needed saying. Time flows differently between dimensions, Zara interjected before Goku could answer. What feels like months first might be days or years here. There's no predicting it precisely. Convenient, Vegeta commented dryly. Zara met his skepticism with a predatory smile. Prince Vegeta, your reputation reaches even my dimension. Always suspicious, always second best. The barb struck home. Vegeta's energy flared momentarily before he controlled it, eyes narrowing. Watch yourself, woman. Dimensional traveler or not, you're addressing Saiyan royalty. Fascinating, she replied without deference. In my dimension, the royal bloodline ended with King Vegeta's father. The commoner clans rose to prominence through strength rather than birth. Before the confrontation could escalate, Goku intervened. Enough, Vegeta, I trust you to maintain Earth's defenses in my absence. The acknowledgement of Vegeta's strength, and the entrusting of Earth's protection to him, diffused the prince's anger. He nodded curtly. Try not to destroy the multiverse with your recklessness, Kakarot. It was as close to a blessing as Vegeta would offer. Goku accepted it with a slight smile. Piccolo approached next, extending a hand in the human gesture of farewell. Find what you're looking for, Goku. But remember who you are at core. That's exactly what I intend to discover, Goku replied, clasping the Namekian's hand firmly. Finally, he turned to his sons. Gohan stood tall, conflicted emotions warring in his eyes, disappointment, understanding, concern. Goten bounced with barely contained excitement. Too young to fully comprehend the significance of this departure. Goku embraced them both, feeling the Majin energy within him respond to the emotional connection. Whatever changes the seal had wrought, his love for his sons remained undiminished, though perhaps expressed differently now. I'll return, he promised. With new techniques for both of you. Gohan nodded stiffly. Just come back as yourself. However that looks now. I will. Goku stepped back, turning to Zara. I'm ready. The female Saiyan raised her hands, energy gathering between her palms. The dimensional tier widened, revealing swirling cosmos beyond normal perception. Colors that shouldn't exist painted reality in impossible patterns. The journey will be disorienting, she warned. Your Majin energy will help stabilize you. But prepare for sensations beyond normal experience. Goku nodded, feeling his transformed power rising to meet the challenge. The Majin mark pulsed brighter, resonating with the dimensional energies. Any last instructions? He asked the assembled group, a final courtesy to his past life. Don't die, Krillin offered with forced cheer. Again, Goku smiled. A genuine expression that briefly resembled his old self. I'll do my best. With that, he turned to the dimensional tier. Zara extended her hand, which he took without hesitation. Together, they stepped into the swirling breach. Reality folded around them like origami, compressing infinite distance into a single step. The last thing the Z-fighters saw was the Majin mark blazing on Goku's forehead, the violet light consuming his form as the dimensional pathway closed behind him. Well, Vegeta said into the silence that followed, the multiverse will never be the same. No one disagreed. For better or worse, Majin Goku had embraced his transformation and the path it offered. Whatever returned from those dimensional pathways would be something new, a fusion of Saiyan warrior, Earth's defender, and Majin power that the universe had never witnessed before. The eternal mark had set him on a journey without end. Chapter 1 End Chapter 2, Dark Ascension. The dimensional rift collapsed behind Goku. Reality sealing itself like a wound healing over. Silence descended upon the lookout as the Z-fighters stood motionless, staring at the empty space where their friend had vanished. The absence of Goku's transformed energy signature left a palpable void, as if the world itself recognized something fundamental had departed. Piccolo was the first to break the stillness. We have a problem. All eyes turned to the Namekian, whose antennae twitched with sudden alarm. His gaze wasn't focused on the disappeared dimensional tear, but eastward, toward a distant power signature that had just flared into existence. "What is it?" Gohan asked, already sensing the disturbance himself. "Babidi may be dead," Supreme Kai answered gravely, "but his final spell is complete. Majin Buu's containment has been breached." Vegeta's energy spiked instinctively. "Impossible. Without Babidi gathering energy." "It was never about gathering energy," Supreme Kai interrupted. "It was about finding a suitable catalyst. The moment Babidi placed the Majin seal on Goku, a resonance was created. Even with the wizard dead, that connection remained. And when Goku tore through dimensions, Gohan realized, horror dawning. The resulting energy surge completed the release sequence, Supreme Kai confirmed. Majin Buu is awakening. Perfect timing, Krillin muttered, glancing at the empty space where Goku had been moments before. Our strongest fighter leaves, and a universal threat emerges. Vegeta's expression darkened with determination. Kakarot isn't our only warrior. I've surpassed him before and will again. He turned to Supreme Kai. What exactly are we facing? The deity's normally composed features showed rare apprehension. A creature of pure malevolence and chaos. Majin Buu has destroyed hundreds of worlds. Consumed countless civilizations. His power is difficult to comprehend. We've heard this speech before, Vegeta dismissed. Cell was supposed to be perfect. Frieza, the emperor of the universe. We defeated them all. This is different, Supreme Kai insisted. Buu isn't just powerful, he's virtually indestructible. Regeneration beyond anything you've encountered. Ical abilities that defy conventional combat. A distant explosion punctuated his warning, visible on the horizon as a pink mushroom cloud rising above the eastern mountains. Theoretical discussion time is over, Piccolo declared. We need to contain this threat before it reaches populated areas. Gohan stepped forward, power flaring around him. I'll go first. My mystic training with Elder Ka. I might give me insight into his magical properties. I'm coming with you, Vegeta stated, allowing no argument. If this creature truly outclasses us, we attack together from the start. No heroic solo stands. The strategic approach surprised those who remembered Vegeta's former arrogance. Years of fighting alongside Earth's defenders had taught the prince painful but valuable lessons about cooperation. Supreme Kai nodded. I'll accompany you. My knowledge of Buu's previous rampages may prove useful. As the warriors prepared to depart, Krillin turned to Dend. Can you contact King Kai? Try to reach Goku somehow. If this threat is as serious as it sounds. The young Namekian guardian shook his head. Dimensional barriers block even divine communication. Wherever Goku is now, he's beyond our reach. Gohan's expression hardened with resolve. Then we face this without him. The devastation spread in concentric circles from Majin Buu's hatching site. Trees uprooted, mountains shattered. The very bedrock cracked under waves of pink energy that expanded outward like ripples in a cosmic pond. At the center floated a creature defying rational description, bulbous, pink, childlike features arranged in a perpetual grin that belied the destruction it casually inflicted. Buu free. Buu play now. Its voice carried the innocence of a toddler, a disturbing contrast to the casual way it vaporized an entire forest with a sweep of its pudgy hand. The Z fighters arrived at the periphery, observing with growing concern. That's the Great Destroyer, Vegeta questioned skeptically. It looks ridiculous. Do not underestimate his appearance, Supreme Kai warned. Buu's childlike mind contains no concept of restraint or consequence. As if to demonstrate this point, Buu noticed a small town in the valley below. With childish delight, he inhaled deeply, cheeks expanding to impossible proportions, then exhaled a beam of pink energy that transformed the entire community into chocolate. The buildings, people, vehicles, all instantaneously transmuted into sweet confections that floated upward into Buu's waiting mouth. Did he just? Krillin couldn't complete the sentence. Horror strangling his words. Transmutation magic, Supreme Kai confirmed grimly. One of his most dangerous abilities. Any living being can be transformed into food and consumed. Gohan's power flared with righteous anger. Those were innocent people, and more will die if we don't stop him immediately, Piccolo reminded him. We need a strategy. Before they could formulate one, Boo's head rotated a full 180 degrees, childish eyes locking onto their position. His perpetual smile widened. New friends come play with Boo. Instantly, the creature was before them, moving with speed that belied his ungainly appearance. Up close, the sickly sweet smell of his malleable flesh assaulted their senses. What strong fighters! Boo poked Gohan's chest with a rubbery finger. Make good game for Boo. Vegeta slapped the probing digit away. Touch me, and it will be the last mistake you make. Boo's expression cycled rapidly between confusion, hurt, and anger, emotions flickering across his features like channels changing on a television. He settled on anger, his pink flesh darkening as steam hissed from the holes in his head and arms. No one hit Boo. Boo make you dead. The creature's power level spiked dramatically, the cheerful demeanor vanishing as his body contorted and expanded. No longer appeared the childlike entity of moments before, now Boo's muscle mass doubled. His expression twisted into rage. Vegeta reacted instantly, transforming to Super Saiyan 2 and launching a devastating right hook into Boo's midsection. His fist disappeared into the malleable pink flesh up to his elbow, seemingly causing no damage whatsoever. What the? Boo giggled, the sound incongruous with his hulking form. With a wet, slurping noise, his abdomen constricted around Vegeta's embedded arm. Boo got you. Quote. Gohan moved instantly, power erupting around him as his mystic training unlocked his full potential without Super Saiyan transformation. A key-enhanced Chop Say varied the section of Boo holding Vegeta captive, allowing the Saiyan Prince to pull free. The detached pink mass quivered, then flew back to Boo's body, reintegrating seamlessly. You no hurt Boo, the creature stated with childish pride. Boo magic. Supreme Kai stepped forward, hands raised in a forgotten gesture of power. Creature of Babidi, I command you to stand down. Boo's head tilted curiously. Babidi. Boo remember Babidi. His expression darkened. Babidi put Boo in ball. Make Boo sleep, and we'll do worse if you don't cease your destruction immediately, the Kai threatened. Though tension in his voice betrayed his uncertainty, the creature's response was a blur of movement. One moment Supreme Kai stood firm, the next he lay embedded in a mountainside half a mile away, chest caved in from a single blow. Kibito materialized beside his master, frantically beginning healing procedures. So much for divine intervention, Piccolo muttered, shedding his weighted clothing. Physical attacks are ineffective against his regeneration. Energy attacks may be our only option. Then let's not hold back, Vegeta snarled, cupping his hands at his side. Final flash. The devastating beam of golden energy engulfed Boo completely, vaporizing his form and carving a trench through 3 mountain ranges beyond. For a brief moment, victory seemed possible, until pink particles suspended in the air began drawing together, reconstructing the creature molecule by molecule. That tickled, Boo announced cheerfully once reformed. Now Boo turn. The counterattack came not as an energy beam but as physical transformation. Boo's arms elongated like elastic, wrapping around Piccolo and Krillin before either could evade. His fingers liquefied, seeping into their skin, beginning a horrific absorption process. No! Gohan roared, power erupting beyond what he'd previously manifested. With precise key scalpels forming around his hands, he severed the connections, freeing his friends at the cellular level. Boo regenerated again, but this time with visible effort. The creature's brow furrowed in what almost resembled concentration. You strong, he observed, studying Gohan with new interest. Boo needs strong. Boo hungry for power. What happened next defied conventional combat experience. Rather than attacking directly, Boo began rapidly changing form, cycling through bizarre configurations. Tall and muscular, short and round, elongated and serpentine. With each transformation, his energy signature fluctuated wildly. What's he doing? Krillin asked, backing away. Evolving. Supreme Kai answered weakly from where Kibito continued healing him. Adapting. Boo absorbs not just bodies but fighting styles, techniques. He's analyzing our powers, trying to counter them. Vegeta cursed colorfully. Then we end this before he completes the analysis. Gohan. Without further communication necessary, the two Saiyans synchronized their attack. Gohan from above, Vegeta from below, each charging their ultimate techniques. The combined Kamehameha and final flash created a devastating energy cross, with Buu caught at the intersection. The resulting explosion temporarily blinded everyone within 50 miles. When vision cleared, a smoking crater 2 miles wide replaced the battlefield. No trace of Buu remained visible. Did we? Krillin dared to hope. Pink particles materialized from seemingly nowhere, swirling together with vindictive purpose. Buu reformed, but different, more muscular, with a pronounced vertical orientation to his head tentacle. Most disturbing, his childish features had sharpened, intelligence now gleaming in formerly vacant eyes. That hurt Buu, he stated, voice deeper, more articulate. Buu learned from pain. Buu grow stronger. He's absorbing our attack patterns. Piccolo realized. Each time we hit him, he adapts. The evolved Buu smiled, an expression chilling in its newfound calculation. Smart green man. Buu like smart. Buu takes smart for self. With terrifying speed, he appeared before Piccolo. This time, no stretching arms telegraphed his intention. Instead, his entire body engulfed the Namekian in a smothering pink mass. Piccolo's scream cut off abruptly as he disappeared inside Buu's malleable form. When the process completed seconds later, Buu stood transformed again. His head tentacle had lengthened, his body grown taller, more defined. A version of Piccolo's weighted cape and turban had manifested, though rendered in shades of pink and purple. Interesting, Buu spoke, voice now carrying echoes of Piccolo's baritone. So many memories, so many techniques. He raised a hand, and to the horror of the watching fighters, executed a perfect special beam cannon that narrowly missed Gohan's head. He's assimilated Piccolo completely, Supreme Kai whispered. Knowledge, power, techniques, all absorbed. Buu turned his attention to Gohan, head tilting with analytical precision. Son of Goku. Fascinating potential. Buu will enjoy adding you to his collection. The familiar reference snapped Gohan from his horror. You know my father. Piccolo knows. Buu tapped his temple. Memories show Goku. Great warrior. His expression darkened. But not here. Disappointing. Something changed in Buu's energy signature, a fluctuation that Supreme Kai immediately recognized. He's scanning dimensions, the deity realized aloud. The Majin connection. He's looking for Goku. Buu's concentration broke as Vegeta launched another desperate attack. This time, the Saiyan Prince didn't rely on GY blasts but physical combat enhanced with precision ki strikes targeting the areas where Buu had shown momentary vulnerability during reformation. We need to destroy him completely. Simultaneously, Vegeta shouted between blows. No molecules left to regenerate. Gohan joined the assault, the two Saiyans working in concert with increasing synchronicity. For brief moments, they seemed to gain advantage, until Buu adapted again. His body hardening selectively against their strikes while remaining malleable where evasion served better. Enough play, Buu announced suddenly. His body expanded rapidly, then contracted with explosive force, creating a shockwave that sent both Saiyans tumbling across the landscape. As Gohan struggled to his feet, he saw Buu floating cross-legged above the battlefield. Eyes closed in apparent meditation. The Majin seal on Goku calls to me, the creature murmured. Connected, bound, but separated by dimensional barriers. His eyes opened, fixing on Supreme Kai. Interesting. Very interesting. Quote, before anyone could react, Buu teleported directly to the injured deity, placing a hand on his forehead. Rather than absorption, this touch seemed extractive. Supreme Kai screamed as ethereal energy flowed from his body into Buu's. Yes, Buu whispered. Divine knowledge. Dimensional awareness. Now Buu understands. When he removed his hand, Supreme Kai collapsed unconscious. But physically intact. Kibito frantically checked his master's condition while the fighters regrouped for another attack. Buu turned to them, expression transformed with newfound purpose. This timeline is incomplete without Majin Goku. The resonance pattern is clear. We are connected. Two expressions of the same primal force. What is he talking about? Krillin whispered. Insanity, Vegeta snarled. Don't engage with his ramblings. Attack. But Buu raised a hand, and suddenly the Saiyan Prince found himself immobilized in midair. The creature's command of telekine. Sis had increased exponentially after absorbing Supreme Kai's knowledge. Patience, Prince of diminished bloodline, Buu admonished. Events are unfolding across dimensional planes. The Majin energy seeks equilibrium. Balance. His attention shifted to Gohan. Son of Goku, your father's transformation was not accident. Not coincidence. The Majin seal recognized compatible darkness within him, darkness he denied but never eliminated. My father has no darkness, Gohan countered automatically, though doubt colored his voice. Buu's smile widened. All beings contain shadow. Most suppress. Some embrace. Few transcend. He gestured to the emblem that had appeared on his forehead, matching the one Goku now bore. The seal reveals truth. Nothing more. Something about Buu had fundamental. Li changed since absorbing portions of Supreme Kai's knowledge. The childish destructiveness remained, but now channeled through disturbing intelligence. His energy signature fluctuated between Chaoti, sea peaks and ordered valleys, as if multiple consciousness fought for dominance within his pink form. What do you want? Gohan demanded, charging energy for another attack. Completion, Buu answered simply. The Majin energy seeks its counterpart. Your father carries half the primal pattern. I contain the other. He closed his eyes again, concentrating. But the dimensions separate us. For now, Vegeta, still struggling against telekinetic bonds, managed to extend 2 fingers. A thin beam of concentrated ki shot toward Buu's head, precisely targeting the Majin symbol on his forehead. The beam connected, and Buu screamed. A sound of genuine pain rather than annoyance. The telekinetic hold broke, dropping Vegeta back to the ground. More significantly, Buu's form destabilized momentarily. Pink flesh rippling with uncontrolled transformations. The seal, Supreme Kai gasped, regaining consciousness. It's his connection point, where the disparate energies integrate. Understanding dawned immediately. Target the Majin mark, Gohan commanded, focusing his attacks with surgical precision. For the first time, Buu showed something resembling fear. His hand covered the symbol proactively as he backed away from the coordinated assault. Fools. Damage the seal and dimensional stability suffers. Whether truth or desperate manipulation, his warning went unheeded. The fighters pressed their advantage, each attack now specifically targeting the Majin emblem that had manifested on Buu's forehead. Reality itself seemed to bend around the battlefield as Buu's powers fluctuated wildly. The ground beneath them cracked not from physical force but from dimensional instability, as if multiple versions of the same space attempted to occupy a single position. Something's happening, Krillin shouted over the reality-warping distortion. It's like when Goku departed, but worse. Supreme Kai's expression showed horrified understanding. The Majin seal acts as an anchor point between dimensions. Damaging one affects all connected nodes. In the heart of the dimensional disruption, a tear appeared in the fabric of reality itself, a jagged wound in space revealing swirling cosmic energies beyond. From this rift emerged a figure, silhouetted against impossible colors. Goku, transformed by Majin energy, stepping back into their dimension. But something was wrong. This wasn't the Goku who had departed hours earlier. His appearance had altered significantly. Hair longer, features harder, body bearing scars that hadn't existed before. The Majin mark pulsed on his forehead, synchronizing instantly with the destabilized emblem on Buu's head. Time dilation, Supreme Kai whispered. Dimensional passage has accelerated his timeline. The returned Goku surveyed the battlefield with calculating eyes. When his gaze fell on Buu, recognition flashed immediately, not surprise, but confirmation of something expected. So, he spoke, voice deeper than they remembered. The resonance drew me back. I felt the connection destabilize across 16 dimensions. Father. Gohan approached cautiously. How long have you been gone? 3 years, subjective time, Goku answered without taking his eyes off Buu. Though I suspected time flowed differently between realities. 3 years, Krillin repeated incredulously. But it's been hours here. Dimensional physics, Goku dismissed casually. Irrelevant now, his focus remained on the pink creature who watched him with equal intensity. What matters is this meeting. I felt your awakening. The Majin energy signature is distinctive. Buu floated forward, regenerated body now stable, Majin mark gleaming on his forehead. Brother in darkness, he greeted with incongruous formality. The seal recognized your potential. As I do, I am no one's brother, Goku corrected coldly. Least of all yours. Something had changed fundamentally in Goku's demeanor during his 3 subjective years away. The uncertainty, that had clouded his initial Majin transformation had vanished, replaced by absolute conviction. His power signature had evolved into something barely recognizable, Saiyan energy interwoven with Majin influence so completely that separation seemed impossible. Dad, Gohan tried again. We need to destroy Buu completely. He's absorbed Piccolo and part of Supreme Kai's power. I see that, Goku acknowledged, finally turning to his son. The look in his eyes gave Gohan pause, recognition without warmth, acknowledgement without emotion. Stand back, all of you. The command carried authority that none present considered challenging. Even Vegeta, never one to follow Goku's directives, found himself retreating without protest. When the others had created sufficient distance, Goku addressed Buu directly. I sensed your emergence across dimensional barriers. The Majin energy sought convergence, two parts of a divided whole. Yes, Buu agreed eagerly. Together, we could reshape reality itself. The primal pattern completed. Tempting, Goku admitted, surprising those watching. But fundamentally flawed. Before Buu could respond, Goku attacked, not with physical strikes or conventional energy blasts, but with a technique none present had witnessed before. His hands formed complex gestures that manipulated space itself, creating localized pockets of dimensional instability around Buu's form. Void partition, Goku named the technique, learned from beings who exist between dimensions. Quite effective against regenerating entities. Buu's expression shifted from confidence to alarm as his body began segmenting involuntarily, each portion isolated in its own pocket of warped space-time. Regeneration proved impossible when separated pieces existed in different dimensional phases. What is this? The creature demanded, genuine fear cracking his voice. This violates natural law. Natural law is subjective, Goku replied coldly. Dimensional constants vary. What's impossible in one reality is fundamental in another. The technique continued, methodically disassembling Buu's form into increasingly smaller segments, each trapped in isolation. As the process advanced, Buu's consciousness fractured, his unified intelligence breaking down. Wait, he pleaded, desperation replacing arrogance. The knowledge I possess, Piccolo's memories, Kai wisdom, all will be lost. For a moment, Goku hesitated. Then his expression hardened with decision. Knowledge without wisdom is meaningless. Power without purpose, dangerous. He completed the final gesture sequence. Return to component energy. Buu's fragmented scream echoed across dimensional barriers as his physical form dissolved completely. But rather than dispersing his energy, Goku executed another unknown technique. Drawing the purified Majin essence toward himself. Dad, don't! Gohan shouted, recognizing the danger too late. You can't absorb Majin energy. But Goku had already completed the process. The pink energy swirled around his form, gradually changing color as it integrated with his transformed ki, from bubblegum pink to deep magenta, then royal purple, before finally settling into his aura. Crimson threads interwoven with golden Super Saiyan energy. When the transformation completed, Goku stood fundamentally changed yet again. The Majin mark on his forehead had evolved, becoming more intricate, with small tendrils extending toward his right eye. His musculature had densified rather than expanded, and his Super Saiyan aura now permanently contained threads of crimson energy. Most significantly, a sphere of pink energy hovered before him, purified, contained, but unmistakably the essence of Buu, stripped of consciousness yet retaining power. What have you done? Supreme Kai approached cautiously, his divine senses perceiving changes beyond physical appearance. Partition rather than destruction, Goku explained, gesturing to the hovering sphere. Buu's regenerative abilities made conventional defeat impossible. Instead, I separated his power from his consciousness. You extracted his energy. Gohan struggled to understand. Without destroying him. Correct. The Majin essence remains, but the identity constructed around it has been dissipated. Goku studied the sphere contemplatively. Pure potential, without direction. Like clay without a sculptor. Vegeta approached, wariness evident in his stance. And what do you intend to do with this, clay, Kakarot? Goku's expression revealed nothing. Study it, understand it, perhaps, eventually, reshape it into something beneficial. He met Vegeta's suspicious gaze directly. The Majin energy isn't inherently evil, Vegeta. No more than Saiyan power. It's the consciousness directing it that determines its nature. A convenient perspective, Supreme Kai commented, for one bearing the Majin seal himself. The observation might once have provoked defensiveness from Goku. The transformed warrior merely inclined his head in acknowledgement. Perspective is always shaped by experience. Mine has expanded significantly. 3 years in other dimensions, Gohan repeated, studying his father's altered appearance. What happened to you out there? Something flickered across Goku's features, the first genuine emotion he'd displayed since returning. More than can be explained in a single conversation. I've traversed realities where physics operate by different principles. Trained with beings that exist as pure energy. Learned techniques that manipulate the fabric of dimensions themselves. And the Majin influence, Vegeta pressed, never one to avoid the direct question. Has it corrupted you completely, or does something of the Kakarot we knew remain? Goku considered the question with unsettling detachment. Corruption implies deterioration. I've been transformed, not degraded. His gaze swept across his former allies. The Goku you knew was incomplete, a warrior denying fundamental aspects of his nature. I've transcended that limitation. That's not an answer, Vegeta challenged. It's the only answer possible, Goku countered. Would you ask a butterfly if it regrets no longer being a caterpillar? The analogy hung in the air, both profound and disturbing. This Goku spoke with philosophical depth foreign to his former personality, yet another indication of how profoundly he had changed. Enough metaphors, Vegeta snapped. Prove your claim. Show us this transformation has elevated rather than corrupted you. A slight smile crossed Goku's face. A challenge, Vegeta. Some things never change, regardless of dimension. Not a challenge, the prince clarified, though his stance shifted subtly to combat readiness. A test. Very well. Goku set the purified Buu essence aside, securing it in what appeared to be a dimensional pocket that closed around the sphere. We can spar briefly, but understand, I've evolved beyond conventional combat parameters. The warning went unheeded as Vegeta launched forward, transforming to Super Saiyan 2 in mid-movement. His attack sequence came with characteristic precision, testing defenses, probing for weaknesses, escalating complexity with each combination. Goku evaded every strike without apparent effort. Not blocking, not countering, simply not being where the attacks landed. His movement pattern defied conventional physics. Body shifting between positions without traversing the intervening space. Dimensional phase stepping, he explained casually, voice unaffected by exertion. Quite useful when conventional speed proves insufficient. Vegeta's frustration mounted with each failed connection. Fight back, Kakarot, or have you forgotten how? If you insist. Goku's counterattack came not as physical strikes but as localized gravitational distortions. Suddenly Vegeta found himself fighting in conditions approximating 500 times Earth's gravity, precisely calibrated to his training threshold. Impressive, Vegeta acknowledged through gritted teeth, adapting his fighting style to the extreme conditions. But I trained under similar gravity on our journey to Namek. True, Goku conceded, but not with inverted spatial reference points. Without warning, Vegeta's orientation shifted. What had been down became sideways, sending him crashing through a nearby mountain before he could recalibrate his ki-based flight. The prince recovered quickly, rage fueling his power. Enough parlor tricks. Fight me directly, Saiyan to Saiyan. Something in the challenge resonated with Goku, perhaps a remnant of his original nature. Perhaps the Majin energy responding to pride. His expression shifted subtly as he settled into a modified fighting stance. As you wish, but remember, you requested this. What followed defied the comprehension of most observers. The two Saiyans engaged at speeds exceeding visual tracking, their movements creating sonic booms that shattered nearby rock formations. Energy discharges illuminated the battlefield like miniature suns igniting and collapsing in milliseconds. Only Gohan, with his mystic-enhanced perception, could follow portions of the exchange. What he witnessed disturbed him deeply. His father's fighting style had transformed completely, incorporating techniques that appeared to bend physical laws, striking through dimensional shortcuts, executing combinations impossible for conventional anatomy. Most disturbing was the cold efficiency. The old Goku fought with passion, excitement at testing his limits, joy in the challenge itself. This Armed warrior engaged with calculating precision, each movement optimized for maximum effect with minimum energy expenditure. The confrontation ended abruptly. One moment Vegeta attacked with furious determination. The next he hung suspended in midair, Goku's hand around his throat. Not choking, simply immobilized with absolute control. Sufficient demonstration? Goku inquired, voice devoid of. The gloating such dominance might once have inspired in Vegeta himself. The prince's eyes burned with humiliation and something deeper, fear, perhaps, at what his rival had become. Release me. Goku complied immediately, floating back to give Vegeta space. The prince rubbed his throat, processing what had just occurred. You've changed, he finally stated. The power is considerable. Beyond considerable, Supreme Kai interjected. What I sensed during that exchange. He trailed off, divine perception clearly troubled by implications the others couldn't fully grasp. Goku turned his attention to the deity. Your concern is understandable. Majin energy traditionally opposes Kai authority, creates imbalance in the cosmic hierarchy. His tone remained neutral, analytical rather than confrontational. But balance can be re-established through understanding rather than opposition. You speak of cosmic principles as if you've studied with the Grand Kai himself, Supreme Kai observed suspiciously. Not precisely, Goku answered, but dimensional travel introduced me to beings with alternative perspectives on universal governance. The implication sent a visible shudder through Supreme Kai's form. There are cosmic principles that mortals should not meddle with. Perhaps, Goku conceded, but those boundaries shift when mortals evolve beyond conventional limitations. The philosophical standoff might have continued indefinitely had Gohan not intervened, practical concerns overriding cosmic debate. Dad, what about Piccolo? Buu absorbed him completely. Is he gone? For the first time, genuine compassion crossed Goku's features. No, Gohan. When I partitioned Buu's essence, I preserved the absorbed consciousness patterns for restoration. He gestured, creating another dimensional pocket from which Piccolo's unconscious form emerged, intact but deeply unconscious. He'll recover, Goku assured his son. Though the experience has altered his consciousness somewhat. Absorption leaves psychic echoes. Relief washed over Gohan's features as he checked his mentor's condition. Thank you. Goku nodded, then surveyed the devastated landscape around them, mountains reduced to rubble. Forests vaporized, the very ground destabilized by dimensional fracturing. This area is compromised, he observed. Dimensional integrity weakened beyond natural recovery. I'll need to establish containment before returning to my explorations. Returning. Gohan looked up sharply. You're leaving again. After 3 hours here, the dimensional rift that brought me back was temporary, created by the resonance between my Majin seal and Buu's awakening. Without that specific harmonic, maintaining cross-dimensional presence requires considerable energy. The explanation, delivered with detached precision, did nothing to soften the emotional impact. Gohan stood, anger flashing across features so similar to his father's original form. That's not good enough, he stated flatly. You disappear for what you say was 3 years, return completely transformed, defeat a universal threat in minutes, and now announce you're leaving again. Without explanation, without reconnecting with your family. Something in the challenge penetrated Goku's detachment. His expression softened marginally as he regarded his son. You're right, dimensional exploration has altered my perspective on temporal relationships. What feels brief to me now would be significant absence for you. He descended to the ground, power signature moderating to less overwhelming levels. I will remain long enough to explain. To reconnect. His gaze swept across the assembled fighters. There is much to share. The lookout's meditation chamber had been expanded to accommodate the returned warrior's altered energy signature. Den had worked quickly, reinforcing the space with divine barriers that contained the dimensional instabilities Goku's presence created in normal space. Within this sanctuary, Goku sat cross-legged, the purified Buu essence floating before him in contained suspension. Around him gathered the Core Z fighters: Gohan, Vegeta, the recovered Piccolo, Krillin, and Supreme Kai. Conspicuously absent was Chi-Chi. Goku had requested time for explanation before what promised to be a more emotionally complex reunion. The dimensional journey began as exploration, Goku explained, continuing the narrative he'd begun upon their return to the lookout. Zara guided me through the shadow dimension where her Saiyan clan had developed techniques unknown to our timeline's warriors. Including this, phase stepping, you demonstrated. Piccolo inquired, still weak from his absorption experience but mentally sharp as ever. Goku nodded. Among others, the Shadow Saiyans evolved differently without Frieza's influence, focused on dimensional manipulation rather than brute force. Their techniques complement Majin energy rather effectively. And where is this Zara now? Vegeta asked suspiciously. Continuing her mission in the 13th harmonic dimension, Goku answered. We separated after I mastered the basic fold techniques. Her clan had prophecies requiring her attention. Something in his tone suggested deeper connection than the words conveyed, a subtlety not lost on those who knew him best. You traveled alone afterward? Gohan questioned. Not precisely alone. Goku's expression shifted, suggesting memories both significant and complex. In the third dimension I met Maya, a former apprentice to that reality's Supreme Kai. At this, Supreme Kai straightened with alarm. A fallen Kai? That's impossible. No Kai apprentice would abandon their sacred duties. Your understanding is limited to this dimensional branch. Goku replied without condescension, simply stating facts. Other realities operate under different cosmic principles. Maya was exiled for studying energy patterns deemed forbidden by her timeline's divine hierarchy. Forbidden knowledge is typically forbidden for good reason, Supreme Kai countered. Or forbidden to maintain existing power structures, Goku observed. Perspective determines interpretation. The philosophical challenge hung in the air, Supreme Kai clearly disturbed by implications extending beyond immediate concerns. This Maya, Piccolo redirected pragmatically. What did she teach you? Energy purification techniques, Goku indicated the suspended Buu essence, without which this containment would be impossible. Majin energy typically resists partition and restraint. Maya's methods allow separation of power from consciousness, essence from identity. Convenient timing, Vegeta noted skeptically. That you returned with precisely the skills needed to defeat Buu without destruction. Goku smiled slightly. Not coincidence. The dimensional distortion caused by Buu's awakening created harmonic resonance with my Majin seal. I felt the disruption across 16 dimensions, like a beacon calling me back to this precise moment. Time is more fluid between dimensions than within them, he continued. Maya theorized that significant events create harmonic convergence points, moments where dimensional barriers thin naturally, allowing transit between otherwise separated reality planes. The explanation, delivered with scientific precision entirely, unlike Goku's former simplistic communication style, reinforced how profoundly he had changed. And now, Gohan pressed. What happens next? You mentioned returning to explorations. Goku nodded. The Majin transformation opened pathways previously inaccessible. Dimensions where reality operates by fundamentally different principles. Knowledge that could revolutionize our understanding of existence itself. At what cost? Piccolo challenged. The Goku I knew valued people above abstract knowledge. Connection above power. Something flickered across Goku's features, perhaps recognition, perhaps regret. A fair observation. The Majin influence prioritizes advancement over attachment. Knowledge over comfort. He met Piccolo's gaze directly. But not absolutely. Connections remain important. Then prove it. Gohan stated. Stay. Reconnect with your family. Help us understand what you've become before disappearing again. The request, simple yet profound, seemed to reach something within the transformed warrior. The Majin mark pulsed briefly as internal conflict visibly played across his features. For the first time, certainty faltered. The dimensional pathways are unstable. Maintaining presence here requires significant energy allocation. So allocate it, Vegeta challenged. Unless these other dimensions mean more to you than your own world now. The accusation struck deeper than expected. Goku's energy fluctuated momentarily, crimson threads in his aura briefly dominating the golden base. It's not about preference, he managed finally. My presence here creates instability. You've seen the effects. He gestured to the reinforced chamber walls, already showing stress fractures from containing his transformed energy. Permanent return would require a dedicated containment zone. A base of operations specifically designed to accommodate dimensional resonance. Then build one, Gohan suggested immediately. We have the resources. The knowledge. Not precisely, Goku corrected. Construction would require materials that don't exist naturally in this dimension. Techniques beyond current technological capacity. So obtain them, Vegeta pressed, surprising everyone with his support for Goku's return. These dimensional pathways work both ways, do they not? Bring what you need from these other realities. The suggestion gave Goku pause. He considered the sphere of purified Buu essence floating before him, then the faces of those gathered, each representing connections to his former life, ties that the Majin influence had dampened but not severed completely. It would require significant preparation, he acknowledged finally. A suitable location, isolated from population centers. Initial containment barriers to prevent dimensional bleed during construction. Hope flickered across Gohan's features. But it's possible, theoretically, Goku conceded, though the process would take time. Materials would need to be gathered from specific dimensional coordinates. Construction techniques adapted from multiple reality paradigms. Time we have, Piccolo stated pragmatically. If the alternative is your permanent absence. Decision crystallized in Goku's expression. Very well, I will establish a dimensional nexus on Earth, a base from which exploration can continue while maintaining connection to this reality. The commitment, though qualified, visibly relieved tension among the gathered fighters. Even Supreme Kai seemed cautiously optimistic, though wariness remained in his divine perception. Where? Gohan asked practically. Where would this base be constructed? Goku considered briefly. The northern polar region would provide suitable isolation. Minimal indigenous life to disrupt, significant natural energy fields to harness for initial containment. The Arctic Circle, Piccolo translated. Harsh conditions, but manageable. For those with key control, environmental extremes are largely irrelevant, Goku noted. And the aurora borealis actually represents natural dimensional thinning, helpful for initial establishment. The plan solidified quickly, Goku's transformed mind calculating requirement. With efficiency foreign to his former nature. Specific materials, energy conduits, dimensional anchoring techniques, all outlined with scientific precision while the others listened with varying degrees of comprehension. I'll depart tomorrow, he concluded, to gather the initial components. The dimensional window allows approximately 3 weeks subjective time before mandating return. Sufficient for preliminary collection. And then, Gohan pressed. Construction begins, Goku answered simply. A process requiring multiple expeditions, each building upon previous work. His expression softened marginally, but each return will be longer. More stable. As the nexus develops, dimensional resonance will stabilize, allowing extended presence. The compromise satisfied no one completely, but offered tangible progress, a path toward reintegrating the transformed warrior into the world he had once protected solely through raw power and determination. Now, his approach reflected calculation, foresight, strategic implementation, aspects of intelligence previously overshadowed by Goku's instinct-driven nature. As the planning session concluded, Piccolo approached Goku privately while the others dispersed to communicate developments to those not present. There's something you're not telling them, the Namekian observed quietly. About these dimensional journeys, Goku's expression revealed nothing. Many things remain unexplained. Complete transfer of 3 years' experience would be impossible in a single conversation. Not experience, Piccolo clarified. Motivation. Goku I knew was driven by simple principles. Protect the innocent, challenge his limits, enjoy the journey. Your current focus suggests different priorities entirely. The observation hung between them, perceptive enough to demand response. Goku studied his former friend, measuring how much to reveal. When Babidi placed the Majin seal, he finally explained, he didn't create darkness within me, he revealed what already existed. Ambition, frustration, desire for acknowledgement beyond Earth's simple-minded defender. Piccolo nodded slowly. We all saw that initial transformation. But now those aspects have evolved. Goku completed. Dimensional exploration revealed possibilities beyond conventional understanding. Civilizations that harness energies our dimension considers mythical. Beings that exist as pure consciousness, transcending physical limitation entirely. His eyes took on an intensity that bordered on zealotry. There are pathways to evolution beyond what even the Kais comprehend. Beyond what Saiyans or humans conceptualize as power. Understanding dawned in Piccolo's expression. You're pursuing transcendence. The simple phrase captured complex ambition with surprising accuracy. Goku inclined his head in acknowledgement. The Majin seal was merely the first key. It unlocked dimensional awareness previously inaccessible. Each reality offers our piece, another step toward what we could become. We, Piccolo questioned sharply, Earth, humanity, those with potential for evolution. Goku's expression showed genuine conviction. I haven't abandoned protection, Piccolo. I've expanded its definition. Why defend a single planet when dimensional knowledge could elevate entire civilizations? The grandiosity of the vision disturbed Piccolo deeply, not because it lacked merit, but because it reflected a fundamental shift in perspective that separated Goku from his former connections. The simple fighter who valued friendship and immediate protection had been replaced by a visionary pursuing cosmic transcendence. Does Gohan know this aspect of your plans? Not yet, Goku admitted. Understanding requires context, experience. The dimensional nexus will provide opportunity for graduated revelation. You mean controlled exposure to your actual agenda, Piccolo translated bluntly. Goku didn't deny the interpretation. Would you explain quantum physics to a child before teaching basic mathematics? Some concepts require foundational understanding. They're not children, Piccolo countered. And you're not a god dispensing wisdom from on high. Something dangerous flickered in Goku's expression, a momentary flash of the Majin influence responding to challenge. I never claimed divinity, but I have witnessed realities that would shatter conventional comprehension. Experienced dimensional states beyond Supreme Kai's knowledge. The assertion, delivered without boasting but as simple fact, created momentary tension between them. Then Goku seemed to recalibrate. Expression softening slightly. Your concern is valid, he acknowledged. Balance between advancement and connection remains challenging. The Majin energy prioritizes evolution over emotion, progress over patience. And which do you prioritize? Piccolo asked directly. The seal's influence, or your core nature? The question struck deeper than expected. Goku's gaze turned inward, genuinely considering rather than automatically defending. Integration rather than dominance, he finally answered. Neither aspect complete without the other. The passion of Son Goku tempers the ambition of Majin influence. The cosmic awareness of Majin energy elevates the simple fighter beyond provincial concerns. Whether the answer satisfied Piccolo remained unclear. But further discussion was interrupted by Gohan's return. The young half-Saiyan's expression reflected complex emotion, hope mingled with lingering concern. Dad, he began carefully, Mom knows you're back. She's waiting at home, expecting you. The domestic reality, so disconnected from dimensional exploration and cosmic ambition, seemed momentarily foreign to Goku. His expression shifted through subtle transitions, brief confusion, recognition, resignation, and finally acceptance. Of course, he nodded. Chi-Chi deserves explanation, though complete understanding may prove challenging. Just be honest with her, Gohan advised. About everything. Goku studied his son, measuring the meaning behind the simple suggestion. Did Gohan suspect deeper motivations? Had Piccolo shared their conversation already? Or was this simply the natural advice of a son who knew his mother's capacity for detecting deception? Honesty within comprehension limits, Goku agreed finally. Some experiences translate poorly to conventional language. With that qualification, he prepared for departure, securing the Buu essence in a dimensional pocket that would accompany him. The purified energy remained part of his ongoing research, a component in understanding Majin properties beyond those manifested through his own transformation. As Goku prepared to teleport to Mount Paozu, Supreme Kai approached with final words. The path you're walking, the deity cautioned, between dimensions, between cosmic forces, it has been attempted before. With catastrophic consequences, by beings lacking proper understanding. Goku countered. Integration requires balance. Knowledge without wisdom leads to destruction. And you believe you possess both? Supreme Kai challenged. A slight smile crossed Goku's features. I believe in continuous evolution. Learning from each dimension, each entity encountered. He touched the Majin mark, which pulsed in response. This was merely the beginning. With that enigmatic statement, he vanished. teleporting not through conventional instant transmission but a modified technique that briefly revealed multiple reality planes overlapping as he passed between them. Those remaining exchanged troubled glances, each processing the implications of what they had witnessed and heard. The Goku who had returned was not the Goku who had departed, not merely in power or knowledge, but in fundamental perspective. Whether this transformation represented advancement or corruption remained unclear, a question each would answer differently based on their own values and understanding. What none could deny was the sense of standing at a threshold, a moment where possibilities both wondrous and terrible hung in precarious balance, with the transfo. RMED warrior is the fulcrum upon which cosmic scales might tip. Mount Paozu remained unchanged, a pastoral paradise untouched by dimensional disruptions or universal threats. The Sun family home stood as it always had, smoke curling from the chimney, garden meticulously tended, a sanctuary of normalcy in stark contrast to the cosmic complexities its patriarch now navigated. Goku appeared at the edge of the clearing rather than directly inside, a courtesy reflecting awareness of how his transformed energy might affect the dwelling's structural integrity. The Majin mark pulsed faintly as he modulated his power signature, dampening dimensional resonance to minimize disruption. Before he could approach the door, it opened. Chi-Chi stood in the threshold, hands clasped before her to prevent their trembling. 3 years had passed subjectively for Goku, mere hours for his wife, yet the emotional distance stretched beyond temporal measurement. "You've changed," she observed immediately, eyes fixing on the evolved Majin mark extending delicate tendrils toward his right eye. "More than before," Goku nodded, maintaining respectful distance. 3 years in dimensions operating under different physical laws, different temporal flows. The experience was transformative. 3 years, Chi-Chi repeated, the concept clearly difficult to reconcile with her experience of hours. "While we waited here, not knowing if you'd return at all." The accusation carried familiar weight: abandonment, responsibility forsaken, family deprioritized. Before his transformation, Goku might have responded with apologetic confusion or simplistic justification. The Majin-influenced warrior acknowledged the emotional reality without defensiveness. "Time flows differently between dimensional planes," he explained gently. "What felt like years to me passed as hours here. An unexpected differential, though not entirely surprising given theoretical models. The scientific explanation, so foreign to Goku's former communication style, visibly disconcerted Chi-Chi. Her husband had never spoken of theoretical models or differential equations. His thinking had been straightforward, sometimes to the point of naivety. "What happened to you out there?" she asked directly, voice threatening to break. Goku considered how to translate experiences beyond conventional comprehension into terms Chi-Chi might understand. "I learned," he began carefully, "from beings whose existence operates on principles our dimension considers impossible. I trained in environments where physics functions differently. I experienced states of consciousness that transcend physical limitation." Chi-Chi's expression reflected growing distance between them, not anger now, but the dawning realization that the gulf separating them might be unbridgeable. "And now," she asked quietly, "are you staying, or is this another brief visit before more important matters call you away?" The question cut to the heart of their relationship's fundamental tension. Goku approached slowly, giving Chi-Chi opportunity to retreat if his transformed presence proved too discomforting. "I'm establishing a dimensional nexus in Earth's northern region," he explained. "A base allowing continued exploration while maintaining connection to this reality. It requires materials from specific dimensions, technologies beyond current capability." "So you're leaving again?" Chi-Chi translated flatly. "Temporarily," Goku qualified. "Each expedition builds toward more stable presence here, eventually allowing extended periods in this dimension without causing instability." Quote, "The explanation, though accurate, did nothing to bridge emotional distance." Chi-Chi studied the transformed being before her, still wearing her husband's face, still speaking with his voice, yet fundamentally altered in ways transcending physical appearance. "And us?" she finally asked. "Where do I fit in these grand cosmic plans?" The directness of the question demanded equal honesty in response. Goku's expression softened with what might have been regret, or perhaps simply acknowledgement of inevitable truth. "Our connection remains important," he began carefully. But the nature of that connection must evolve. The Majin transformation altered fundamental aspects of my consciousness, priorities, perceptions, potential futures. What I'm becoming I not align with what you need in a husband. The gentle brutality of the assessment hung between them. Not rejection. Goku offered no cruelty, but recognition of incompatible trajectories. So that's it, Chi-Chi whispered. 20 years of marriage ended because some alien wizard put a mark on your forehead. The mark revealed what already existed, Goku corrected quietly. Aspects of myself I suppressed to meet expectations, yours, Earth's, even my own. The transformation didn't create new priorities, it unveiled existing ones previously subordinated. Whether the distinction provided comfort remained questionable. Chi-Chi's expression hardened with the defensive pride that had sustained her through numerous crises. Does she know? She asked suddenly. Goku questioned, genuinely uncertain of the reference. This Zara, the female Saiyan who conveniently appeared just as you were looking for reasons to leave. The accusation carried bitter certainty. Does she know she's a replacement? Understanding dawned. Goku shook his head slowly. Zara isn't replacing you, Chi-Chi. Our interactions were primarily training-based, knowledge exchange. The qualification, primarily, hung unaddressed between them. Chi-Chi's perceptiveness had always exceeded Goku's ability to dissemble, even before his transformation brought enhanced awareness of emotional undercurrents. And this other one Gohan mentioned. The fallen Kai apprentice, Maya, Goku acknowledged, a teacher of energy purification techniques. Her knowledge proved crucial for containing the Buu essence. Again, the careful qualification by omission. Chi-Chi's eyes narrowed with painful recognition. 3 years is a long time, she observed with quiet dignity. Even subjectively, especially for someone discovering new aspects of themselves. The implicit understanding required no confirmation. Goku offered no denial, no defense, merely respectful acknowledgement of a perception that contained its own truth. What we built together remains valuable, he said finally. Your strength, your dedication to family, these qualities shaped Gohan and Goten into remarkable individuals. Our shared journey has significance that transcends current circumstance. Pretty words, Chi-Chi noted, surprising bitterness edging her voice. You never used to speak in philosophical abstractions. The Goku I married was direct. Simple sometimes, but honest in ways I could understand. Evolution rarely maintains perfect continuity, Goku observed. The caterpillar recognizes nothing of itself in the butterfly. Chi-Chi's laugh held no humor. Now you're quoting poetry, from dimensions beyond comprehension. She shook her head slowly. I don't know you anymore. I'm not sure I want to. The admission pained them both, a recognition of irreconcilable realities rather than rejection driven by anger. Chi-Chi stepped back, creating physical distance to match the emotional chasm between them. Goten should see you before you leave again, she stated, practical concerns reasserting themselves. He's with Trunks at Capsule Corporation. Training. He's advancing quickly. Vegeta says his potential is considerable. Goku nodded, accepting the change of subject as necessary emotional transition. I sensed his energy signature when I arrived. His control has improved remarkably. Children grow, Chi-Chi observed simply. Whether their fathers are present or not. The understated accusation might once have triggered defensive justification or apologetic confusion. The transformed Goku acknowledged its validity without emotional deflection. A reality I've failed to properly prioritize, he admitted. The Majin influence values advancement over attachment, evolution over emotional constancy. Balancing these aspects remains challenging. At least you're honest about it now, Chi-Chi acknowledged, a small victory in the midst of larger defeat. The old Goku would have made promises he couldn't keep, assurances without understanding their impossibility. The observation revealed surprising insight. Chi-Chi had understood her husband's limitations perhaps better than he had himself. Goku inclined his head in acknowledgement. Would you prefer I hadn't returned? He asked suddenly, the question emerging from genuine uncertainty rather than manipulation. That I continued dimensional express. Luration without attempting reintegration. Chi-Chi considered the question with unexpected thoughtfulness. I don't know, she finally admitted. Closure has value. Understanding why someone leaves, that has value too. Her eyes met his directly. But watching someone you love transform into someone unrecognizable, that has its own pain. The honesty between them created momentary connection bridging otherwise irreconcilable distance. For a brief instant, the Majin influence receded, allowing something of Goku's original nature to surface, compassion uncomplicated by cosmic awareness or dimensional perspective. I'm sorry, he offered simply, not for evolving, but for the pain that evolution causes those connected to my former self. The apology, limited but genuine, seemed to provide Chi-Chi something she needed. Her posture straightened, dignity reasserting itself through vulnerability. When do you leave again? Tomorrow, Goku answered. The dimensional window allows approximately 3 weeks subjective time for gathering initial materials. I should return within 2 days by this dimension's temporal flow. Chi-Chi nodded, processing the information with practical determination. I'll have your things packed. Whatever you wish to take to this nexus you're building. The offer represented both acceptance of reality and establishment of new boundaries. Goku Riko. Gnized. It is the beginning of formal separation, the pragmatic acknowledgement that their marriage had evolved beyond conventional parameters. Thank you, he said simply. I'll speak with Goten before departing. Chi-Chi nodded again, then stepped back into the house, door closing with quiet finality. Not slammed in anger but shut with dignified acceptance, perhaps more painful in its calm recognition of inevitable conclusion. Goku remained briefly in the clearing, assessing emotions the Majin influence had dampened but not eliminated. Regret existed alongside certainty, compassion alongside cosmic ambition. The integration of these seemingly contradictory aspects represented his ongoing evolution, neither purely Saiyan warrior nor purely Majin entity, but something new emerging from the fusion of disparate energies. As he prepared to teleport to Capsule Corporation, his senses detected an unexpected energy signature approaching rapidly. Piccolo, flying at maximum speed, expression grave with urgency. Goku waited, curious what could prompt such haste from the normally measured Namekian. Problem? He inquired as Piccolo landed. The Buu essence, Piccolo stated without preamble. It's destabilizing dimensional boundaries wherever you concentrate it. Supreme Kai detected reality fractures forming at the lookout after your departure. Goku frowned, accessing the dimensional pocket where he'd stored the purified energy. Indeed, subtle fluctuations disturbed the containment field, ripples in space-time expanding outward from the concentrated Majin power. Interesting, he observed, analytical mind already calculating adjustments. The purification process must have altered fundamental resonance patterns. Without Buu's consciousness to direct it, the energy seeks equilibrium through dimensional bleed. Can you stabilize it? Piccolo pressed, concern evident. Not conventionally, Goku acknowledged. This dimension lacks necessary containment technologies. The Northern Nexus would provide suitable infrastructure, but construction remains incomplete. Then what? We can't allow random dimensional breaches across the planet. Goku considered options with INC foreign to his former decision-making process. Distribution rather than concentration may provide temporary solution. Dispersing the essence across multiple containment fields should reduce dimensional pressure at any single point. Without waiting for response, he extracted the sphere of pink energy from its dimensional pocket. The Buu essence pulsed with increasing instability, creating visible distortions in surrounding space-time. Stand back, Goku instructed. This technique requires precise calibration. Executing a series of complex gestures, he began subdividing the energy sphere into smaller components. Each contained within individually modified dimensional pockets. The process demanded extraordinary precision, separating volatile Majin energy without triggering cascading instability or dimensional collapse. As the final partition completed, Goku extended his awareness across multiple reality planes simultaneously, verifying containment integrity. Satisfied with temporary stabilization, he resealed the divided essence into nested dimensional fields. That should hold until the Nexus is operational, he informed Piccolo. Though accelerated construction becomes necessary, the Buu essence represents too significant a power source to remain inadequately contained. Piccolo studied him with unreadable expression. You're planning to use it, aren't you? Not just study it. The direct question deserved equal directness in response. Properly refined, Majin energy offers evolutionary potential beyond conventional power sources. Not for destruction, for transcendence. Whose transcendence? Piccolo challenged. Goku met his gaze steadily. Those prepared to evolve beyond current limitations. The dimensional nexus will serve multiple purposes: research facility, training ground, evolutionary catalyst. The ambition underlying these simple statements disturbed Piccolo deeply. Not because it suggested malevolence, Goku's core compassion remained evident, despite Majin influence, but because it reflected cosmic-scale manipulation beyond mortal wisdom to safely direct. You're playing with forces beyond even your enhanced comprehension, the Namekian warned. Dimensional boundaries exist for reasons transcending individual ambition. Not playing, Goku corrected. Integrating, balancing, creating harmony between energies traditionally considered oppositional. The distinction provided little reassurance. Piccolo's expression remained troubled as Goku secured the partitioned Buu essence within nested containment fields. The Nexus construction timeline accelerates. Goku concluded. Dimensional stability requires proper infrastructure. My departure cannot wait until tomorrow. Piccolo's alarm visibly increased. You're leaving now, without seeing Goten. After everything we discussed about maintaining connections. Something resembling regret crossed Goku's features. Necessity sometimes overrides preference. Dimensional collapse would threaten everyone, including Goten. The rationalization, though logical, revealed prioritization fundamentally altered from Goku's former values. Cosmic concerns now outweighed personal connections. However important those connections might remain conceptually, at least communicate directly, Piccolo insisted. Don't disappear without explanation again. Goku considered briefly, then nodded. You're right. Perception matters alongside reality. He focused momentarily, establishing telepathic connection with key individuals: Gohan, Vegeta, Supreme Kai, and finally, Chi-Chi and Goten together. The Buu essence creates dimensional instability requiring immediate attention. He communicated simultaneously to all. Departure accelerates to prevent potential collapse. Nexus construction remains priority. Return expected within 3 standard days. The mental connection allowed limited emotional feedback. Concern from Gohan, suspicious acceptance from Vegeta, divine wariness from Supreme Kai. From Chi-Chi came resigned confirmation of expectations. From Goten, childish disappointment mingled with excitement at the telepathic communication itself. Dad, his younger son's mental voice reflected enthusiasm despite circumstances. You're talking in my head. Can you teach me this technique when you come back? The innocent request penetrated Majin-influenced detachment, reaching something fundamental in Goku's core nature. Yes, he promised. This and many others. Prepare by mastering key control basics with Vegeta. Satisfied with communication establishment, Goku prepared for dimensional transit. The technique had evolved significantly since his departure with Zara hours earlier, no longer requiring external tear creation, instead manipulating reality fabric directly through Majin-enhanced perception. 3 days, Piccolo reiterated, seeking confirmation. Approximately, Goku qualified. Temporal differential remains unpredictable between specific dimensional coordinates. With that final qualification, he activated the transit technique. Reality parted around him, not tearing but folding, revealing layered planes of existence normally imperceptible to conventional consciousness. Through this multidimensional aperture, Goku stepped sideways out of reality, the dimensional opening ceiling behind him with barely perceptible distortion. Piccolo remained in the clearing, troubled contemplation evident in his expression. The Namekian had witnessed numerous transformations throughout his existence, from his own evolution beyond his father's legacy to Gohan's development from frightened child to Earth's defender. Yet Goku's metamorphosis represented something fundamentally different, not merely advancement along established trajectory but evolution Taoa. Rode something existing beyond conventional paradigms entirely. Whether this transformation ultimately served creation or destruction, elevation or subjugation, remained impossible to predict. The only certainty was change itself, relentless, inevitable, and increasingly operating according to principles transcending conventional comprehension. In Goku's absence, preparations would continue. The Z fighters would monitor dimensional stability, establish preliminary infrastructure at the Arctic site, and maintain vigilance against more conventional threats. But underlying these practical activity ran deeper currents of uncertainty, philosophical questions about the nature of advancement, the wisdom of transcendence, and the possibility that evolution itself might carry costs beyond immediate calculation. The Majin mark had set Goku on a path without clear destination, a journey towards something existing beyond the horizon of conventional understanding. Whether that destination represent salvation or catastrophe remained unknowable, even to the transformed warrior himself. What remained certain was the journey's continuation, a dark ascension toward cosmic potential that would reshape not only Goku himself, but potentially reality across multiple dimensions. The butterfly emerging from chrysalis transformation had begun spreading wings whose consequences would ripple across existence itself. Chapter 2 and Chapter 3, Dimensional Breach. The dimensional fold collapsed around Goku like origami unraveling in reverse, reality restructuring itself as he emerged into a realm of impossibly vivid colors. Here, at the nexus point between multiple dimensional planes, physics operated according to principles that would have shattered conventional understanding. Gravitational constants fluctuated in rhythmic pulses. Light behaved simultaneously as particle and wave, visible to enhanced perception. Time flowed not as linear progression but as interwoven streams, occasionally crossing, creating eddies of temporal recursion. The transformed warrior floated in this interdimensional junction, Majin mark pulsing in resonance with the surrounding energy patterns. The partitioned Buu essence orbited him in nested containment fields, each fragment seeking reunification while Goku's will maintain separation. He extended his awareness across 16 distinct dimensional frequencies, cataloging subtle variations in fundamental constants. Fascinating, he murmured to the cosmic void. The energy patterns suggest structural commonality despite surface differentiation. 3S. Objective years of interdimensional exploration had transformed not just Goku's power, but his cognitive processing. The former straightforward fighter now perceived reality as interlocking systems, multidimensional matrices that could be manipulated through proper understanding. The Majin influence had unlocked latent intellectual capacity previously overshadowed by combat instinct. He gestured precisely, creating holographic models of multidimensional energy flows visible only to his enhanced senses. The Buu essence fragments responded to his manipulations, their unstable energy signatures, providing insight into cross-dimensional resonance patterns. The fundamental Majin frequency persists across all dimensional barriers, Goku observed, speaking his analysis aloud though no conventio. Null being could hear him in this interdimensional pocket, suggesting common origin point predating dimensional separation. This revelation carried implications beyond immediate practical application. If Majin energy existed as universal constant across all dimensional planes, its nature transcended conventional classification as evil or corrupting. It represented a fundamental cosmic force, like gravity or electromagnetism, but operating on higher dimensional principles. As Goku continued his analysis, a disturbance rippled through the interdimensional medium. Something approached, not through conventional space, but through reality layers themselves. His senses extended, identifying the energy signature immediately. Zara, he acknowledged as the crimson-haired Saiyan materialized beside him. Her dimensional fold technique having improved significantly since their separation. Found you, she stated, predatory eyes assessing the Buu essence fragments with immediate suspicion. I felt the dimensional disruption across 7 harmonic planes, significant enough to interrupt my clan obligations. Goku nodded, unsurprised by her appearance. Majin Buu awakened in my home dimension. The confrontation created resonance patterns that temporarily destabilized interdimensional barriers. Majin Buu. Zara's expression darkened with recognition. The devourer of worlds. My clan's histories speak of it. A destroyer that consumed 3 Shadow Saiyan colonies before being sealed by divine intervention. This dimension's version was successfully neutralized, Goku indicated the floating energy fragments. I extracted his essence while dispersing his consciousness. Zara approached the containment fields cautiously, examining the purified energy with experienced eyes. Her armor, a modified version of traditional Saiyan design with dimensional stabilization technology integrated into the composite material, adapted instantly to the fluctuating gravitational constants. You plan to utilize it, she observed. Not a question but recognition of intention. For the transcendence protocols. The statement confirmed shared understanding developed during their previous travels together. Goku inclined his head in acknowledgement. Properly refined, it provides necessary catalytic properties. But stable containment requires infrastructure beyond current capabilities. Zara circled the floating fragments, her movement leaving traces of crimson energy in the interdimensional medium. The dimensional nexus you theorized. You've begun implementation. Preliminary site selection complete. Material acquisition in progress. Goku's precise speech patterns reflected his transformed cognition, efficient, analytical, prioritizing clarity over conversational flow. Your tracking skills remain impressive. Few beings can navigate interdimensional junctions without external guidance. A predatory smile crossed Zara's features. Shadow Saiyan specialization. While your Meline's Saiyans focused on brute combat strength, my clan developed sensory acuity beyond conventional limitations. She approached him directly, personal space concepts different in her cultural framework. You've evolved further since our separation. The Majin integration progresses. Goku allowed the proximity, their energies interacting in patterns invisible to conventional perception. Progressive fusion rather than competitive dominance. The seal's influence enhances inherent aspects rather than imposing foreign directives. As the prophecies suggested, Zara noted with satisfaction. Her hand reached toward his face, fingertips hovering near the evolved Majin mark without quite touching. The tendrils extend further. Soon they will reach your eye. The observation carried significance beyond physical description. In Shadow Saiyan mysticism, eye transformation represented perception evolution, literally seeing reality through altered consciousness. Accelerated by recent confrontation, Goku confirmed. The resonance with Buu's awakening catalyzed integration processes. Their conversation, technical and precise to outside perception, carried undercurrents of connection. Developed during their previous travels together, Zara's presence represented continuation rather than interruption, her understanding of dimensional mechanics complementing Goku's evolving capabilities. Your current trajectory, she inquired, pragmatic despite personal interest. Material acquisition for Nexus construction. Specific elemental combinations exist only in particular dimensional coordinates. He gestured, creating a holographic representation of 16 interconnected reality planes. This junction point provides optimal access to 7 primary dimensions simultaneously. Zara studied the model with practiced assessment. Efficient, though this approach leaves you vulnerable to temporal disruption if dimensional constants shift unexpectedly. A calculated risk, Goku acknowledged. Temporal fluctuation remains within acceptable parameters for current objectives. Their technical exchange continued, refining interdimensional navigation protocols with efficiency born of previous collaboration. While their relationship transcended purely professional parameters, pragmatic concerns dominated immediate interaction, a prioritization pattern characteristic of Saiyan cultural frameworks across multiple dimensions. As they concluded preliminary planning, Goku became aware of a disharmonic vibration in the surrounding interdimensional medium. His perception extended outward, identifying the source immediately. Dimensional fracture, he announced, attention shifting to a point where reality fabric showed signs of imminent rupture. Non-standard origin pattern, not natural formation. Zara's stance shifted instantly to combat readiness. Deliberate breach, probable, Goku confirmed, already analyzing disruption characteristics. Energy signature suggests technological intervention rather than natural phenomenon. The interdimensional junction point began destabilizing as the fracture expanded, reality layers separating like pages in a book forced open at the binding. Through this widening breach came energy patterns Goku recognized immediately. Intervention timeline, he identified, recognizing fundamental constants. Earth-adjacent dimensional branch, technological development approximately 60 standard years advanced from my origin point. Compatibility range, Zara inquired practically, already calculating survival parameters. 97% atmospheric, gravitational within adaptation threshold, Goku confirmed. But the breach pattern suggests catastrophic failure rather than controlled access. The dimensional fracture continued expanding, threatening the junction point's stability. Unlike natural interdimensional pathways, this technologically forced breach created cascading disruption, reality fabric tearing rather than folding. With potential for permanent dimensional damage. Containment necessary, Goku decided. The fracture pattern will destabilize multiple connecting dimensions if left unchecked. Zara nodded in agreement, already coordinating her energy signature with his for compatible intervention. Breach point first, then cause assessment. Without further discussion needed, both warriors moved toward the expanding dimensional tear. The interdimensional medium resisted conventional movement, requiring consciousness-directed transit rather than physical propulsion. They navigated through reality layers with practiced coordination, approaching the fracture from opposing vectors to maximize containment efficiency. As they reached the breach periphery, sensory input flooded their enhanced perception. Catastrophic energy readings, atmospheric combustion, technological signatures operating beyond design parameters. Through the widening tear, fractured images became visible, a metropolis under attack. Advanced aerial vehicles engaged with craft of clearly non-terrestrial design, energy weapons discharging with devastating effect. Invasion pattern, Zara identified immediately, her land's history making such scenarios instantly recognizable. Systematic infrastructure targeting suggests resource acquisition rather than simple conquest. Goku's analysis reached similar conclusions. The dimensional breach appears connected to the conflict, either defensive measure or unintended consequence of weapons discharge. Containment priority remains structural stabilization, Zara reminded. Practical concerns overriding immediate intervention temptation. Dimensional collapse would render conflict outcome irrelevant. Nodding in agreement, Goku began executing complex energy manipulation techniques learned during his interdimensional explorations. His hands formed precise gestures that influenced reality fabric at fundamental levels, crimson threads of Majin energy weaving Hero Golden Super Saiyan power to create containment barriers along fracture boundaries. Zara complemented his approach from the opposing vector, her Shadow Saiyan techniques focusing on dimensional folding rather than direct energy application. Together, their efforts created a stabilization matrix that prevented further expansion while beginning gradual realignment of separated reality layers. As containment established preliminary stability, Goku's enhanced senses detected a specific energy signature emanating from the breach origin point, not alien, not conventional human, but something operating on principles suggesting familiarity with interdimensional mechanics. Interesting, he noted, adjusting his containment pattern to investigate without compromising structural integrity. Quote, "The breach originates from targeted technology rather than random weapons discharge. Someone on the invaded Earth is attempting dimensional access. Desperation measure," Zara suggested, maintaining her portion of the containment field. Last resort against superior invasion force. Possibly, Goku acknowledged, but the calibration suggests prior understanding of interdimensional theory, not improvised implementation. As stability increased under their combined efforts, the dimensional tear contracted to manageable proportions. The immediate catastrophic expansion risk neutralized, they could now observe the invasion scenario more clearly through the stabilized breach. The cityscape beyond resembled advanced Earth metropolitan design, though technological integration exceeded Goku's original dimension by several development decades. Crystalline skyscrapers housed holographic transmission arrays. Gravity-defying transportation networks connected structures at multiple elevations. Energy shields flickered around government buildings, though many showed signs of recent failure. Attacking the city were craft of distinctly non-terrestrial design, biomechanical constructs that moved with unsettling organic fluidity despite their metallic composition. They discharged energy weapons that bypassed conventional shielding, suggesting dimensional phase-shifting technology rather than simple brute force application. Their weapons operate on cross-phasic principles, Goku observed, suggesting familiarity with dimensional manipulation, though cruder than our methods. Assessment confirmed, Zara agreed. Technological adaptation of natural dimensional sensitivity rather than true interdimensional understanding. As they analyzed the conflict dynamics, a localized energy surge emanated from a research facility at the city's periphery. The building's distinctive architecture and specialized equipment visible through broken containment walls identified it as dimensional research installation. The breach origin point, Goku confirmed, focusing enhanced perception on the facility. Someone continues dimensional access attempts despite invasion conditions. Zara's expression showed reluctant admiration. Persistence under catastrophic circumstances. Potentially useful quality. Investigation warranted. Goku decided. The dimensional breach requires proper closure for long-term stability. Identifying the activation mechanism becomes necessary. Their containment field now self-sustaining through established energy matrices, both warriors prepared for transitional passage. Unlike conventional dimensional travel, entering through unnatural breach required precise calibration. Reality layers remained misaligned, creating potential for molecular disruption during transit. Synchronized passage. Goku directed, extending interdimensional awareness to create safe transit corridor. Maintain molecular coherence through phase shifting rather than conventional materialization. Zara nodded, adjusting her dimensional fold technique to complement his approach. Together, they executed the complex transition, their forms shifting through 16 dimensions. All phases simultaneously before reconstituting in the target reality plane. The sensory assault was immediate and intense. What had been visible through the dimensional breach is distant conflict became immersive catastrophe upon materialization. The atmosphere carried acrid chemical signatures from weapons discharge and structural fires. Gravitational fluctuations rippled outward from points alien technology interfaced with Earth defensive systems. Sound arrived as cacophonous layering, energy weapon discharges, structural collapse, emergency response systems, and underlying everything. The distinctive harmonic resonance of dimensional instability. They materialized directly within the research facility identified as breach origin point. The laboratory showed evidence of both rape defense and methodical evacuation, workstations secured rather than abandoned, non-essential equipment powered down in orderly sequence, defensive protocols engaged with tactical precision rather than panic response. At the chamber's center stood a woman, back turned to their arrival point as she worked frantically at what was clearly a dimensional portal apparatus. Her short black hair was streaked with premature silver, practical laboratory attire modified with integrated technological components of her own design. Despite the chaos surrounding her facility, her movements showed methodical precision, adjusting calibrations, reinforcing power conduits, compensating for fluctuating energy inputs with intuitive efficiency. Portal stability at 17% and declining, she muttered to herself. Unaware of their arrival, dimensional resonance patterns degrading under external interference. Need amplitude modulation to compensate for harmonic disruption. Goku observed silently for several moments, analyzing both the technology and its operator with equal interest. The portal design showed remarkable theoretical understanding despite implementation limitations. Eating was the woman's calm efficiency under catastrophic conditions, prioritizing technical solutions over emotional response to imminent danger. Your dimensional calibration requires fundamental reconfiguration, he finally stated, causing the woman to spin around in shock. The harmonic frequency must align with natural dimensional boundaries rather than forcing artificial breach points. The scientist recovered from her surprise with impressive speed, eyes narrowing as she assessed the unexpected arrivals. Her gaze fixed immediately on Goku's Majin mark, recognition flashing across her features despite never having encountered such symbology before. Interdimensional travelers, she identified instantly, attention shifting between them with analytical precision. Non-standard transit method, no equipment signature, natural dimensional manipulation capacity. Her attention returned to Goku specifically. And you're telling me my calibration is wrong? Inefficient rather than incorrect, Goku clarified. Your approach forces dimensional separation rather than utilizing existing junction points. Creates structural instability while consuming excessive energy. I'm aware of the theoretical limitations, she responded, frustration evident beneath professional composure. But junction point navigation requires sensory perception beyond human capability and equipment I don't have time to build while aliens are destroying my city. A distant explosion punctuated her statement, the facility's reinforced structure trembling under proximity discharge. Emergency lighting FL, ickered momentarily before power rerouted through secondary systems. Dr. Arya Vex, she introduced herself abruptly, pragmatism overriding conventional social protocols. Dimensional Physics Division, Earth Defense Initiative. And you are clearly what I was attempting to contact, though not precisely as expected. The introduction confirmed Goku's assessment of her professional focus while providing nominal identification. Her immediate acceptance of their interdimensional nature suggested previous theoretical understanding despite lack of practical contact. "Son Goku," he responded with equal efficiency. "This is Zara of the Shadow Saiyan clan." He gestured toward the portal apparatus. "Your technology demonstrates remarkable theoretical understanding despite implementation limitations. Compliments later." Drive. Vex dismissed, turning back to her equipment. "The Archons have systematically destroyed every major defense installation globally. This facility remains operational only because it wasn't considered military significant until 23 minutes ago." Her hands moved across control interfaces with practiced precision. "I hypothesized that interdimensional energy natures might disrupt their phase-shifting weapons technology. Was attempting to generate controlled dimensional discharge when you arrived." Another explosion, closer this time. The facilities struck. Churl integrity alarms activated as defensive shields began failing sequentially. "Perimeter breach imminent," an automated system announced. "Estimated facility compromise in 3 minutes, 17 seconds. Dr. Vex continued working despite the warning, determination overriding self-preservation instincts. "If you have suggestions for improving calibration efficiency, now would be the time. Otherwise, please don't distract me while I try to save what remains of planetary civilization." Zara exchanged glances with Goku, both recognizing the scientist's value despite her abrupt communication style. Her understanding of interdimensional physics, though limited by technological constraints, suggested potential usefulness beyond immediate crisis resolution. Direct intervention would be more efficient than equipment modification, Goku observed. The Archon weapons utilize dimensional phase shifting that can be countered through similar principles. Dr. Vex paused, turning to study him with new interest. "You can counter their weapons technology directly, without equipment assistance. Dimensional manipulation is inherent rather than technologically dependent," he confirmed. "Though comprehensive planetary defense would require strategic coordination beyond immediate tactical response." The scientist processed this information with impressive speed, rapidly recalculating available options. "If you can neutralize the attack force currently targeting this facility, I can establish secure communication with remaining defense installations. Coordinate global countermeasures based on your intervention principles." Before Goku could respond, the facility's final defensive barrier collapsed under concentrated weapons fire. The laboratory's reinforced ceiling disintegrated. Ted as an Archon assault craft positioned itself directly overhead, organic metallic appendages descending through the newly created opening. "Decision time abbreviated," Zara noted dryly, shifting to combat stance. "Tactical demonstration becomes necessary." Goku nodded in agreement, attention focusing on the invasive Archon technology. His enhanced perception identified the dimensional phase shifting frequency immediately. The aliens, weapons operated by temporarily shifting matter between dimensional states, allowing penetration of conventional defenses before rematerialization. Elementa, application of cross-dimensional principles, he observed, raising one hand toward the descending Archon craft. Lacking sophistication despite effectiveness against conventional defense. With Isai's manipulation of Majin-enhanced energy, Goku created a counter-phasing field that matched the Archon technology's frequency but inverted its harmonic pattern. The alien craft's appendages encountered this field mid-descent, their matter suddenly unable to maintain phase coherence. The metallic organic components shuddered violently before disintegrating at molecular level, dimensional discord preventing stable existence. The craft itself attempted retreat upon component failure, but Goku extended his counter-phasing field to encompass the entire vehicle. Unlike conventional energy attacks that would have damaged physical structure while leaving functional components intact, this approach disrupted the very dimensional coherence that allowed the craft's existence. It collapsed inward, components returning to component energy rather than conventional destruction. Dr. Vex observed the demonstration with scientific fascination overriding immediate survival relief. "You disrupted their dimensional phase coherence." She analyzed correctly. "Forced quantum decoherence through harmonic interference patterns." Her eyes narrowed with intense interest. "That shouldn't be possible without equipment calibration for specific frequency identification. Perceptual capacity transcends technological limitation," Goku explained, already extending his awareness to identify additional Archon craft approaching the facility. I perceive dimensional frequencies directly rather than requiring instrumental measurement. Zara moved toward the laboratory's shattered ceiling, her own senses tracking incoming hostiles. 6 additional craft approaching, she reported. Varying configuration suggesting tactical adaptation attempt. They learn quickly. Drive. Vex confirmed, grabbing a Specia Lizd tablet device from her workstation. Each engagement provides data for evolutionary adaptation of their biomechanical systems. Repeated use of identical countermeasures shows diminishing effectiveness. Goku nodded, analytical mind already formulating response. Zara. Eastern approach vector. Variable counter-phase implementation rather than static frequency opposition. I'll handle western and northern quadrants with dimensional fold disruption. The crimson-haired Saiyan acknowledged with predatory anticipation, launching through the damaged ceiling without further discussion needed. Her combat style reflected Shadow Saiyan specialization, utilizing dimensional perception to anticipate materialization points, striking as Archon technology phase shifted between dimensional states when most vulnerable. Your partner is effective. Drive. Vex observed, fingers flying across her tablet interface as she established emergency connections with surviving defense installations worldwide. Different methodology but complementary application. Shadow Saiyans evolved specialized dimensional sensitivity, Goku confirmed, maintaining perceptual tracking of approaching hostiles while conversing. Natural adaptation to pocket dimension environmental conditions over multiple generations. Fascinating evolutionary development, the scientist noted with genuine interest despite crisis conditions. Suggesting genetic adaptation potential to dimensional exposure rather than simple technological augmentation. Another Archon craft appeared overhead, this one larger and configured differently from the previous attacker. It maintained distance while deploying what appeared to be scanning technology rather than immediate weapons. Analysis pattern. Drive. Vex identified. Thereat. Empting to understand your countermeasures before committing additional resources. Logical tactical response, Goku acknowledged. Though ineffective against variable implementation. Rather than waiting for the Archon analysis to complete, he executed a dimensional fold technique that transcended simple counterphasing. The space surrounding the alien craft distorted as reality layers temporarily separated, creating localized pocket dimension that trapped the vehicle between dimensional planes. Unlike his previous approach that forced component disintegration, this technique preserved the craft intact but removed it from conventional reality access. Containment rather than destruction, he explained to the observing scientist, allowing potential research opportunity once immediate crisis resolves. Dr. Vex's expression reflected professional appreciation alongside practical concerns. Impressive methodology. Though I lack equipment capable of analyzing technology trapped between dimensional planes. Dimensional access can be established once proper containment protocols develop, Goku assured her, attention already shifting to additional approaching craft. Your theoretical understanding suggests capacity for implementation given appropriate guidance. Their conversation continued despite ongoing defensive operations, both individuals processing multiple information streams simultaneously through different methodologies. Dr. Vex coordinated with global defense remnants while analyzing Goku's dimensional manipulation techniques. Goku neutralized approaching on craft while evaluating the scientist's potential usefulness beyond immediate crisis. Zara returned through the damaged ceiling, combat effectiveness evident in her economical movements despite having eliminated multiple hostile craft. Perimeter temporarily secured, she reported. Though planetary invasion continues beyond local engagement zone. Dr. Vex looked up from her communications equipment. Expression shifting from tactical focus to strategic consideration. I've established contact with surviving defense installations on 3 continents. They report similar invasion patterns, systematic infrastructure targeting, communication disruption, dimensional phase weapons neutralizing conventional defenses. She straightened, decision crystallizing. I need to understand exactly what you're doing when you counter their technology. If we can replicate even simplified versions of your dimensional manipulation, surviving military forces might establish effective resistance. The request reflected practical prioritization rather than academic curiosity, immediate survival needs overriding scientific protocol. Goku assessed her capacity for comprehension alongside strategic implications of technological transfer. Simplified implementation possible within technological constraints, he acknowledged. Though comprehensive understanding requires conceptual frameworks beyond current scientific paradigms, I'll manage the paradigm expansion, drive. Vex stated with confidence bordering on arrogance. Just provide functional principles I can translate into applicable technology. Zara observed the exchange with pragmatic assessment. Knowledge transfer requires survival first, she reminded them both. This facility remains compromised despite perimeter securing. Strategic relocation becomes necessary. The underground levels contain shielded research areas, drive. Vex informed them, already gathering essential equipment. Designed for containing dimensional experiments with catastrophic potential. Should provide temporary security assuming your countermeasures prevent direct phase penetration. Goku nodded, extending perceptual awareness beyond immediate Saron. Dings to assess global invasion patterns. The Archon forces operated with systematic efficiency, suggesting artificial intelligence coordination rather than individualized command structure. Their targ. ETING priorities reflected resource acquisition methodology, communication systems, energy production facilities, transportation networks, with civilian casualties appearing incidental rather than primary objective. Their operational pattern suggests conversion rather than simple destruction, he observed as they relocated to underground facilities. Systematic infrastructure repurposing for specific resource extraction. Assessment confirmed by previous engagements, drive. Vex agreed, leading them through security protocols that recognized her biometric signatures. They've been systematic all. Why converting major power generation facilities into what appear to be dimensional resonance amplifiers? Our scientists hypothesize they're attempting to establish permanent transit points between dimensions. The underground laboratory they entered contained equipment significantly more advanced than the surface facility. Specialized containment chambers, reality measurement instrumentation, and most notably, a more sophisticated version of the dimensional portal drive. Vex had been operating previously. My primary research installation, she explained, activating security protocols that sealed the chamber from external access. Off official records to prevent bureaucratic interference. The initiative tolerates my theoretical work but restricts practical implementation due to unpredictable variables. Her expression conveyed professional frustration alongside pragmatic acceptance of institutional limitations. Bureaucratic obstruction transcends dimensional boundaries, Zara observed with unexpected humor. My clan faced similar resistance from Shadow Saiyan Council despite practical demonstration benefits. Dr. Vex's lips quirked in surprised appreciation of the solidarity before returning to professional focus. This equipment provides more precise dimensional measurement capability. If you'll demonstrate your counter-phasing techniques at reduced intensity, I can analyze fundamental principles for potential technological adaptation. Goku considered the request, weighing knowledge transfer implications against immediate tactical benefits. The scientist's understanding, while impressive for her dimension's development level, remained fundamentally limited by conceptual frameworks insufficient for comprehensive implementation. However, even simplified applications might provide significant defensive advantage against Archon technology. Demonstration possible, he agreed, raising one hand to generate controlled dimensional manipulation field. Though effective, replication requires conceptual expansion beyond conventional physics models. For the next hour, while Zara maintained perimeter security, Goku systematically demonstrated dimensional manipulation. Techniques modified for instrumental observation. Dr. Vex proved exceptional student, grasping complex principles through intuitive leaps that transcended her dimension's theoretical limitations, recog. Nizing implementation possibilities despite technological constraints. The fundamental principle isn't phase shifting as we've theorized, she realized, studying measurement readings with intense concentration. It's dimensional resonance manipulation, creating harmonic interference patterns that disrupt stability across multiple reality planes simultaneously. Correct, Goku confirmed, impressed by her conceptual adaptability. Conventional physics models treat dimensions as separate domains with fixed boundaries. Reality operates as interpenetrating frequency patterns with variable permeability based on resonance harmonics. Like overlapping radio frequencies, drive. Vex translated into familiar conceptual framework. Different broadcasts occupying same space but perceptible only when tuned to specific wavelengths. Simplified but functionally applicable analogy, Goku acknowledged. Sufficient for developing countermeasure technology within current constraints. Their knowledge, exchange continued with increasing depth, drive. Vex rapidly assimilating concepts that would have required decades of conventional research progression. Goku recognized her exceptional intellectual capacity, not merely educational achievement but intuitive comprehension that transcended her dimension's development limitations. Meanwhile, Zara maintained security while conducting her own analysis of the Archon invasion methodology. Her Shadow Saiyan training focused on tactical assessment alongside combat application, understanding enemy patterns providing strategic advantage beyond simple force opposition. Their dimensional technology suggests specific origin characteristics, she reported during brief consultation break. Harmonic patterns indicate evolution in dimensional boundary space rather than standard reality plane. Explains their natural phase shifting capability but also suggests specific vulnerabilities. Dr. Vex looked up from her equipment calibration, interest immediately engaged. Boundary space evolution would explain their technological integration patterns. Not adaptation of external tools but externalization of natural capabilities. Her expression shifted with revelation. Which means their entire existence depends on dimensional stability parameters within specific tolerance ranges. Precisely, Zara confirmed. Their weapons disrupt defensive technology through dimensional phase modulation. Similar principles applied at species-specific frequency would disrupt their fundamental existence parameters. The implications crystallized simultaneously. Are all three individuals a potential counter-offensive strategy targeting the Archons, evolutionary vulnerabilities rather than simply defending against their weapons technology? If we could generate dimensional resonance disruption at their specific existence frequency, Dr. Vex began, already calculating implementation requirements. Comprehensive neutralization becomes possible, Goku completed. Analytical mind processing tactical application alongside ethical considerations. Though species-wide targeting raises moral questions beyond immediate defensive justification. They initiated existential threat conditions. Zara stated pragmatically. Shadow Saiyan ethical frameworks prioritizing survival above abstract moral consideration. Proportional response remains justified under multidimensional conflict principles. Dr. Vex observed their exchange with scientific detachment partially masking emotional complexity. The philosophical debate becomes academic if we can't implement practical countermeasures. My equipment can identify their specific dimensional frequency signature but lacks generating capacity for comprehensive disruption field. Goku considered the technical limitations alongside ethical implications. Majin influenced decision processes weighing multiple factors simultaneously. The Archon invasion represented genuine existential threat to this dimension's Earth civilization. Their methodical infrastructure conversion suggested long-term resource extraction plans rather than simple conquest. Neutralization through dimensional disruption represented efficient resolution with minimal continuing casualties. Implementation possible through combined methodology, he decided. Your equipment provides precise frequency identification. My dimension, manipulation capabilities supply necessary disruption field generation. Dr. Vex nodded sharply, professional excitement overriding lingering moral reservations. I'll reconfigure the dimensional scanner to isolate their specific resonance pattern. Need approximately 30 minutes for proper calibration. As she turned to her equipment, Zara approached Goku privately, communication shifting to untranslatable Shadow Saiyan dialect that ensured confidentiality. This dimension offers significant potential beyond current crisis resolution, she observed in the specialized language. The scientist's capabilities suggest exceptional adaptation capacity despite technological limitations. The territorial disruption creates acquisition opportunity with minimal resource investment. The S-ment reflected Shadow Saiyan expansion methodology, identifying vulnerable dimensions with valuable resources or knowledge, establishing presence through crisis intervention, developing influence street ruptures through selected technology transfer. Not conquest in conventional definition but strategic positioning for long-term benefit extraction. Assessment valid, Goku acknowledged in the same dialect. though implementation requires consideration beyond immediate tactical resolution. Potential interdimensional nexus expansion point, properly developed. Their discussion continued in specialized technical terms, evaluating this dimension's potential value within larger interdimensional exploration framework. The Majin influence integrated seamlessly with this strategic assessment. Pragmat. I see benefit calculation replacing simplistic moral categorization that might have limited Goku's former decision processes. Dr. Vex worked with impressive efficiency, periodically glancing toward her. Interdimensional visitors with scientific curiosity partially masked by immediate crisis focus. Despite language limitations preventing comprehension of their private exchange, her observational acuity suggested awareness of underlying assessment processes beyond stated intervention purpose. After 27 minutes of intensive recalibration, she straightened from her equipment with professional satisfaction. Frequency isolation complete. Their dimensional resonance pattern centers on 16.832 EHz with harmonic variations across 7 sub-frequencies. She manipulated control interfaces, displaying complex waveform patterns on monitoring screens. Fascinating evolutionary adaptation. Their entire molecular structure exists partially phase-shifted from conventional reality plane, express, laning their technological integration and defensive capabilities. Goku studied the displayed patterns, his enhanced perception immediately comprehending implications beyond instrumental measurement capacity. The resonance structure suggests evolved adaptation to interdimensional boundary conditions rather than natural dimensional inhabitants. Essentially invasive species across multiple reality planes. Not merely this specific Earth dimension. Interdimensional parasites, Zara translated into simpler conceptual framework. Exploiting resource-rich dimensions through phase-shifted technology advantage, which makes neutralization less morally problematic. Drive. Vex noted with pragmatic acceptance, scientific detachment masking personal relief at ethical justification. They're not simply defending territorial expansion but implementing systematic exploitation patterns across multiple realities. The observation reflected surprising interdimensional perspective from someone tech. HNI Cali limited to single-dimension experience, another indication of the scientist's exceptional adaptation capacity that increased her potential value beyond immediate crisis resolution. Counter. ASUR implementation requires precision calculation, Goku stated, studying the frequency data with analytical focus. Disruption field must target specific resonance pattern without affecting standard dimensional stability parameters. Can you generate sufficient field strength for planetary coverage? Dr. Vex asked practically. Their forces have established presence on every continent. Conventional energy projection would require multiple generation points, Goku acknowledged. However, utilizing natural dimensional junction points as amplification nodes allows comprehensive coverage through single activation source. He gestured precisely, creating holographic representation of planetary energy grid overlaid with dimensional boundary markers invisible to conventional perception. Clearly displayed through his manipulated energy field. 7 primary junction points exist within planetary boundary, he explained, indicating specific geographic locations where dimensional fabric naturally thinned. Properly calibrated disruption field initiated at primary node will propagate through natural connection pathways, creating comprehensive coverage without requiring multiple generation sources. Dr. Vex studied the displayed information with intense concentration, comprehending implications despite conceptual framework limitations. The nearest junction point appears loca. TED approximately 70 kilometers north of this facility. Within potential reach assuming your countermeasures prevent Archon interception during transit. I can establish sufficient security parameters, Zara stated confidently. Predatory anticipation evident in her stance. Though direct confrontation becomes inevitable if they detect implementation attempt. They will. Drive. Vex confirmed grimly. Their sensor technology demonstrates exceptional sensitivity to dimensional fluctuations. Any movement toward junction points will trigger immediate response prioritization. Goku considered tactical options, weighing efficiency against security concerns. Direct dimensional translocation possible but inadvisable given current stability parameters. Conventional approach under dimension. AL camouflage represents optimal methodology despite time investment increase. The decision established, they began methodical preparation. Drive. Vex gathering essential equipment and calibration tools. Zara securing specialized defensive components adapted from laboratory resources. Goku analyzing optimal approach vectors while maintaining perceptual awareness of Archon movement patterns throughout planetary atmosphere. As preparations neared completion, Drive. Vex paused momentarily, scientific focus briefly yielding to personal consideration. Assuming successful implementation, what happens afterward? You both clearly possess interdimensional transit capability independent of external circumstances. The question addressed unspoken implications extending beyond immediate crisis resolution. Goku exchanged brief glance with Zara, both recognizing potential value proposition requiring careful presentation rather than direct statement. Resolution creates opportunity for knowledge exchange beyond crisis parameters. Goku answered carefully. Your understanding of dimensional physics demonstrates exceptional potential despite technological limitations. Properly developed, such null DGE offers advancement possibilities transcending conventional development timelines. You're suggesting some form of continuing collaboration. Drive. Vex translated accurately, perceptiveness matching her scientific acumen. Access to interdimensional knowledge in exchange for, what exactly? Mutual benefit arrangement. Zara clarified with Shadow Saiyan directness. Your dimensional research facilities provide potential operational node within larger interdimensional network. Our knowledge accelerates your technological development beyond standard progression limitations. While providing you strategic positioning within this dimensional plane. Drive. Vex completed, surprising them with her immediate comprehension of unstated implications. An arrangement not entirely altruistic despite mutual benefit potential. Rather than appearing offended by the underlying motivations, the scientist seemed almost appreciative of the straightforward exchange proposition. Her expression reflected CTED calculating assessment rather than moral judgment, weighing potential knowledge acquisition against implicit sovereignty implications. Consideration for future discussion, Goku suggested practically. Immediate crisis resolution takes priority over long-term arrangement negotiation. Dr. Vex nodded sharply, pragmatism reasserting dominance over philosophical consideration. Agreed. Though, post-resolution negotiations will require clearly established parameters regarding technological exchange limitations and jurisdictional boundaries. The statement revealed sophisticated understanding. Of interdimensional politics despite no prior contact experience, another indication of exceptional adaptation capacity that reinforced her potential value beyond immediate tactical utility. With preparations complete, they departed the underground facility through security protocols that sealed the laboratory behind them. Surface conditions had deteriorated during their preparation period. Structural damage expanded beyond immediate facility perimeter, atmospheric conditions showing increased particulate contamination from ongoing conflict, Archon presence intensified throughout surrounding metropolitan area. They've established dimensional resonance amplifiers at 3 locations within visual range, Goku observed, enhanced perception identifying the alien technology despite camouflage attempts. Systematic deployment suggesting imminent large-scale dimensional operation rather than simple invasion consolidation. Consistent with observed methodology. Drive. Vex confirmed, special IZED equipment supplementing her conventional perception. Previous invasion zones showed accelerated infrastructure conversion following initial resistance neutralization. They're preparing for major dimensional boundary manipulation. Timing becomes critical, Zara concluded, already establishing dimensional camouflage field around their small group. Junction point access must occur before large-scale boundary disruption initiates. Quote, moving through devastated urban landscape under dimensional camouflage required precise coordination, Zara maintaining perceptual distortion field that prevent direct observation while Goku suppressed energy signatures that might trigger Archon detection systems. Dr. Vex navigated optimal route parameters using specialized equipment that incorporated conventional mapping systems and dimensional stability monitoring. Their progress continued without direct confrontation for 13 kilometers before encountering first major obstacle, an Archon Conversion operation transforming civilian power distribution center into dimensional resonance amplifier. The alien technology integration process had reached advanced stage, biomechanical components. Replacing human infrastructure with disturbing organic precision. Primary power conduits already converted. Drive. Vex observed, monitoring readings from safe observation distance. There establishing resonance synchronization with existing amplifier network. Completion estimated within 17 minutes based on conversion progression rate. Neutralization necessary before continuing, Zara stated pragmatically. Completed amplifier would detect R passage regardless of camouflage field implementation. Goku analyzed the conversion operation with enhanced perception, identifying critical vulnerability points within the integration process. Targeted disruption of primary resonance nodes would collapse conversion sequence without requiring comprehensive destruction. Minimizes energy signature generation while ensuring operational neutralization. Can you implement without compromising camouflage integrity? Dr. Vex questioned practically. Dimensional phase insertion allows direct manipulation without conventional presence requirements, Goku confirmed. Though temporary camouflage degradation remains unavoidable during actual implementation moment. The technique he described represented advanced application of dimensional manipulation principles, not merely moving through space conventionally while hidden from perception, but partially phase shifting into intermediate dimensional state, allowing physical interaction without complete materialization in target reality plane. Proceed, Zara authorized, adjusting camouflage field parameters to compensate for momentary vulnerability. Optimal implementation window identified during conversion sequence oscillation cycle. Goku executed the precise dimensional manipulation, his form becoming temporarily translucent. As he partially phase shifted between reality planes. To conventional perception, he would appear ghost-like, partially visible yet insubstantial, capable of passing through solid matter while retaining limited physical interaction capability. In this specialized state, he approached the Archon conversion operation undetected despite proximity to alien technology. Their sensors, while sensitive to conventional dimensional fluctuations, lacked calibration for the specific intermediate phase state he occupied, a limitation resulting from evolutionary specialization rather than technological inadequacy. With surgical precision, he identified 3 critical resonance nodes within the conversion process and simultaneously disrupted their synchronization patterns. Unlike conventional sabotage requiring physical destruction, this approach introduced subtle harmonic discordance into the integration sequence, creating cascading failure that appeared as natural conversion rejection rather than external interference. The operation complete, he returned to full dimensional integration within the camouflage field perimeter. The Archon technology continued operating for approximately 27 seconds before harmonic discordance reached critical threshold. The conversion process collapsed inward, biomechanical components rejecting integration parameters without explosive discharge or obvious failure indicators. Impressive implementation, drive, Vex observed with professional appreciation. Catastrophic failure without detectable external causation. They'll interpret as integration rejection rather than deliberate sabotage. Quote, temporary solution, Goku cautioned, already detecting Archon response patterns shifting toward the facility. They'll deploy specialized diagnostic units to identify failure parameters. Continued progress becomes necessary before investigation completes. Their journey resumed with increased urgency, navigational efficiency balanced against detection avoidance as they progressed toward the dimensional junction point. Dr. Vex maintained remarkable physical endurance despite lacking enhanced capabilities of her interdimensional companions, determinati. On and specialized stimulant compounds compensating for conventional human limitations. As they approached within 5 kilometers of the targeted junction point, Goku's enhanced perception detected distinctive energy signature approaching from upper atmosphere, different from standard Archon patterns observed previously. Command-level entity approaching, he informed his companions, analyzing the distinctive resonance pattern. Significantly different structure from implementation units. Likely response to conversion failure detection. Can your camouflage field maintain integrity against enhanced detection capabilities? Dr. Vex asked Zara directly, practical concerns overriding hierarchical communication patterns. Uncertain, the Shadow Saiyan acknowledged without false confidence. Command entities typically possess specialized sensory capability beyond standard implementation units. Adaptation becomes necessary based on specific detection methodology. As the command entity descended toward the failed conversion site, its distinctive energy signature provided critical information about specialized capabilities. Unlike standard Archon implementation units with generalized phase-shifting technology, this entity possessed specifically calibrated dimensional perception, evolved sensory capacity beyond technological augmentation. Biological dimensional sensitivity, Goku identified, recognizing pattern characteristics similar to Shadow Saiyan evolutionary adaptations. Natural perception rather than instrumented detection. Significantly more difficult to deceive through conventional camouflage methodology. Quote, "Can you counter specifically, Dr. Vex pressed, already calculating alternative approach vectors should concealment fail. Counter perception field possible," Goku confirmed. Though implementation requires concentration currently allocated to energy signature suppression. Trade-off becomes necessary. Prioritize perception counteraction, Zara decided pragmatically. Energy signature detectable only within limited range. Perceptual identification represents greater immediate threat given command entities' probable scanning patterns. With tactical adjustment agreed upon, Goku shifted dimensional manipulation focus from energy suppression to perception countermeasures. The technique required sophisticated understanding of sensory processing AC. Ross multiple dimensional planes, creating false perception patterns rather than simply hiding actual presence. The command entity completed initial investigation of failed conversion site, attention. Expanding outward in methodical scanning pattern. Unlike mechanical search protocols, its methodology demonstrated intuitive adaptation, following subtle environmental disruption indicators invisible to conventional detection systems. It's tracking our passage despite camouflage field, drive. Vex realized, monitoring specialized equipment that measured dimensional disturbance patterns. Detecting residual displacement despite active concealment. Expected capability for command-level entity, Zara acknowledged without surprise. Direct confrontation becomes probable despite evasion attempts. Goku continued refining perception countermeasures while analyzing the command entity's capabilities. Its structure represented significant evolutionary advancement beyond standard implementation its dimensional sensitivity integrated into biological systems rather than technological augmentation, suggesting specialized development for specific operational parameters. Interesting adaptation pattern, he observed with scientific detachment despite tactical implications. Suggests specialized evolution rather than standard species development. Potentially engineered specifically for interdimensional operations. Fascinating biological specialization, drive. Vex agreed, scientific curiosity momentarily overriding survival concerns. Though immediate tactical implications take priority over evolutionary analysis. The command entity's search pattern suddenly accelerated, movement trajectory shifting directly toward their position despite continued camouflage implementation. Its perceptual capabilities had overcome countermeasures through adaptive sensitivity rather than brute force detection methods. Confrontation unavoidable, Zara stated, already shifting from concealment to combat preparation. Neutralization necessary before junction point approach can continue. Unlike previous tactical engagements with standard implementation units, this confrontation required coordinated strategy against evolutionarily specialized opponent. The command entity possessed not merely superior technology but fundamentally different operational capabilities, dimensional sensitivity AP. Approaching their own specialized abilities. Direct neutralization inadvisable, Goku assessed, studying the approaching entity's dimensional resonance pattern. Command-level status suggests network integration. Destruction would trigger immediate system-wide alert rather than localized response. Containment rather than destruction, Dr. Vex suggested, grasping tactical implications despite limited combat experience. Preserve alert prevention while neutralizing immediate threat. Precisely, Goku confirmed. Dimensional pocket containment allows removal from operational awareness with triggering hierarchical notification protocols. The approach represented sophisticated tactical thinking beyond simple combat response, understanding the Archon command structure's operational parameters and exploiting systematic limitations rather than engaging destructive capacity directly. As the command entity located their position, camouflage field effectiveness degraded completely. The alien being manifested physical form specifically configured for direct confrontation, biomechanical structure optimized for dimensional phase manipulation with weapons components integrated directly into physiological systems. Interdimensional intruders identified, it communicated through modulated energy patterns rather than conventional sound. Classification. Extreme threat. Immediate neutralization authorized under Directive 7 Alpha. Without further communication attempt, it initiated attack, not through conventional weapons discharge but specialized dimensional disruption field designed to destabilize their molecular coherence across multiple reality planes simultaneously. The approach demonstrated sophisticated understanding of interdimensional transit capabilities, specifica LLY targeting vulnerabilities inherent to beings capable of cross-dimensional movement. Goku countered with precisely calibrated dimensional stabilization field, protecting not only himself but extending protection to include both companions. The defensive technique required considerable energy allocation but prevented the immediate molecular destabilization the command entity attempted to induce. Impressive countermeasure implementation. The entity acknowledged tactical assessment overriding simple attack protocols. Capability exceeds standard interdimensional transit parameters. Reclassification necessary. Its attack pattern shifted immediately, abandoning broad-spectrum dimensional disruption in favor of targeted phase synchronization, attempting to match Goku's specific dimensio null frequency to neutralize his countermeasure capabilities. The approach demonstrated tactical adaptation beyond programmed response patterns, suggesting genuine intelligence rather than algorithmic combat protocols. Its learning drive. Vex observed with scientific appreciation despite immediate danger. Adaptive response patterns indicating actual cognitive processing rather than pre-established tactical programming. Expected capability for command-level entity. Zara confirmed, moving to flanking position while the command entity focused primary attention on Goku. Specialized development and for coordinating implementation units across multiple operational parameters. The engagement continued with increasing complexity, not simple combat exchange but sophisticated dimensional manipulation contest. The command entity demonstrated exceptional adaptation capability, each countermeasure implementation providing learning opportunity that improved subsequent attack efficiency. Goku's expression remained analytical despite escalating confrontation intensity. Fascinating evolutionary specialization. Dimension-specific adaptation rather than generalized capability development. STS engineered purpose rather than natural selection progression. Academic analysis later. Drive. Vex reminded practically, monitoring junction point proximity with specialized equipment. Tactical R.E. solution priority given operational timeline constraints. Acknowledging the priority reminder, Goku shifted from defensive countermeasures to offensive containment implementation. Rather than matching the command entity's dimensional manipulation patterns, he deliberately introduced disharmonic resonance into the surrounding space-time fabric, creating localized pocket dimension with specific frequency calibration the entity couldn't easily counter. Dimensional isolation protocol detected. The command entity identified immediately, recognizing containment attempt despite implementation sophistication. Counterm. Its response terminated mid-execution as the pocket dimension collapsed inward, removing the command entity from conventional reality plane without allowing complete countermeasure deployment. Unlike destruction, this approach maintained the being's existence but isolated it within dimensional space specifically calibrated to prevent escape or communication with hierarchical command structure. Containment complete. Goku confirmed, maintaining the dimensional pocket through ongoing energy allocation. Though continued isolation requires periodic reinforcement to prevent eventual degradation, permanent solution becomes necessary once immediate crisis resolves, Zara noted pragmatically. Shadow Saiyan methodology prioritizing conclusive resolution over temporary containment. Research opportunity rather than simple neutralization. Drive. Vex suggested, scientific perspective identifying value beyond immediate tactical considerations. A command-level entity provides evolutionary insights potentially useful for developing comprehensive countermeasures against future incursions. The observation reflected sophisticated cost-benefit analysis rather than simple academic curiosity, recognizing strategic advantage potential beyond immediate crisis resolution. Goku acknowledged the valid assessment with slight nod, interdimensional pocket maintained while they resumed progress toward the junction point. With the command entity contained, remaining distance passed without significant opposition. Standard implementation units continued operational patterns without central coordination. focusing on infrastructure conversion rather than intruder detection without specific direction from command hierarchy. The dimensional junction point itself manifests. Ted no obvious physical characteristics visible to conventional perception. To ordinary observation, the location appeared unremarkable, small clearing within partially damaged urban park, surrounded by trees showing minimal impact from nearby conflict. Only Goku's enhanced perception revealed its true significance, natural thinning in dimensional fabric creating connection node between multiple reality planes. Junction point integrity remains optimal despite surrounding conflict, he confirmed, analyzing dimensional resonance patterns with specialized perception. Natural connection pathways to 7 primary dimensions intact, allowing comprehensive disruption field propagation once properly calibrated. Dr. Vex activated specialized equipment brought from her laboratory, establishing measurement parameters that translated dimensional characteristics into data her technology could process. Despite equipment limitations, the readings confirmed Goku's assessment, natural dimensional TNNING creating optimal conditions for field propagation across planetary scale. The frequency isolation data requires integration into disruption field generation parameters, she explained, estably. Shing connection between dimensional scanners and field calibration equipment. Properly aligned harmonic patterns will ensure species-specific targeting without affecting standard dimensional stability. While the scientist completed technical preparations, Goku and Zara established perimeter security, not through conventional defensive positions but dimensional early warning system that would detect approaching threats through reality plane disturbance patterns rather than physical proximity. The Archon technology continues systematic conversion throughout planetary infrastructure, Zara reported. Enhanced perception tracking distant implementation patterns. Approaching critical mass for potential large-scale dimensional boundary manipulation. Timeline constraint increases implementation urgency, Goku acknowledged. Maintaining command entity containment while simultaneously assisting drive. Vex's technical calibration. Though precision remains essential despite acceleration necessity. Working with impressive efficiency, the scientist completed calibration protocols that would ensure disruption field specificity. Her methodology demonstrated intuitive understanding beyond dimensions technological development level, adapting concepts from Goku's explanations into practical implementation despite theoretical framework limitations. Calibration complete, she announced finally. Specialized equipment indicating optimal parameter alignment. The disruption field will target their specific dimensional resonance frequency while preserving standard reality plane stability. Implementation readiness achieved. Quote, the critical moment approached. Activation requiring precise energy input calibrated to junction point resonance patterns. Goku positioned himself at the dimensional thinning's exact center. Majin mark pulsing with increased intensity as he aligned internal energy patterns with external dimensional frequencies. Containment field transfer necessary before implementation, he informed them, indicating the pocket dimension containing the command entity. Disruption field will neutralize containment integrity if maintained during activation. Zara nodded in understanding, accepting dimensional pocket responsibility through specialized transfer technique. The contained command entity transitioned to her maintenance control, allowing Goku complete concentration focus on disruption field generation. With preparations complete, he began the precise energy manipulation sequence that would generate species-specific dimensional disruption field. Unlike conventional energy projection that operated within single reality plane, this technique required simultaneous manipulation across multiple dimensional frequencies, creating harmonic resonance pattern that would propagate through natural connection pathways to achieve planetary coverage. The implementation manifested visually as crimson-tinged energy sphere expanding outward from his position, not conventional key projection but dimensional manipulation made partially visible through reality plane intersection. As the field reached junction point boundaries, it didn't continue physical expansio but instead transferred to interdimensional pathways, becoming imperceptible to conventional observation while propagating along natural connection networks. Field propagation proceeding optimally, Goku confirmed. Maintaining precise energy input calibration. Dimensional pathway integrity remains stable despite transfer volume. Dr. Vex monitored the process through specialized equipment, he Our technology providing limited visibility into dimensional processes beyond conventional perception. Propagation speed exceeds theoretical models by approximately 34%. Junction point natural amplification exceeding predicted parameters. The disruption field continued expanding through dimensional pathways, reaching progressively distant geographic locations through natural connection networks other than conventional physical propagation. As coverage expanded, the field's effects became observable through specialized monitoring equipment, Archon technology throughout planetary infrastructure. Beginning systematic failure as their dimensional resonance patterns destabilized. Initial phase effectiveness confirmed, drive. VEX reported, monitoring global communications channels through auxiliary equipment. Defense installations report spontaneous Archon technology failure across multiple continents. Implementation units experiencing physical destabilization consistent with dimensional resonance disruption. The process continued with increasing effectiveness as field coverage approached planetary completion. Unlike conventional weapons that would have caused physical destruction with accompanying collateral damage, this approach specifically targeted the Archon's fundamental existence parameters, disrupting the dimensional resonance pattern that allowed their partial phase shifted state to maintain stability. As disruption field implementation reached completion, Goku maintained precise energy calibration to ensure comprehensive coverage while preventing unintended dimensional stability impacts. The technique represented sophisticated application of principles transcending conventional combat methodology, not destroying opponents through superior force but specifically getting evolutionary vulnerabilities through dimensional manipulation. Field stabilization complete, he announced finally. Energy projection transitioning from active generation to maintenance phase. Comprehensive planetary coverage achieved with 99.7% targeting specificity. Archon neutralization proceeding according to expected parameters. Dr. VEX continued monitoring global response through communication channels. Expression reflecting professional satisfaction alongside exhaustion from extended crisis operations. Confirmation from surviving defense installations worldwide. Archon Tech, HNO-LG systematically neutralized without conventional engagement requirements. Implementation units experiencing complete molecular destabilization consistent with dimensional resonance disruption. The crisis resolution had required less than 4 minutes from implementation initiation to confirmation of effectiveness, efficiency resulting from precise targeting rather than brute force application. Unlike conventional military operations requiring extended engagement periods, dimensional manipulation provided comprehensive solution through fundamental vulnerability exploitation. As disrupt, ion field maintenance transitioned to self-sustaining phase, Goku reduced direct energy allocation while maintaining monitoring awareness. The field would continue operating independently for approximately 72 hours, sufficient duration to ensure complete Archon neutralization throughout planetary environment. Impressive efficiency, Zara acknowledged, still maintaining command entity containment within dimensional pocket. Resolution without requiring extensive resource allocation or prolonged engagement. Interdimensional problems require interdimensional solutions, Goku observed philosophically. Analytical mind already processing broader implications beyond immediate tactical success. Conventional approaches prove ineffective against opponents operating on dimensional principles transcending standard reality parameters. Dr. VEX monitored final neutralization confirmation reports before deactivating specialized equipment with careful precision. Her expression reflected complex emotional processing beneath professional composure, relief at crisis resolution alongside awareness of fundamental paradigm shift the experience represented for her dimension's civilization. This changes everything, she stated finally, scientific assessment transcending immediate tactical considerations. Not just the invasion resolution, but the confirmation of interdimensional real Y and beings capable of manipulating it directly. Our entire scientific understanding requires reconstruction from fundamental principles. Knowledge integration process typically requires generational transition, Goku acknowledged. Recognizing paradigm shift challenges despite his own accelerated evolution beyond such limitations. Though specialized individuals with exceptional adaptation capacity can assimilate concepts beyond conventional framework limitations. The observation contained implicit acknowledgement of her demonstrated capabilities, recognizing potential value beyond immediate crisis utility. Dr. Vex understood the unstated assessment, professional pride evident beneath exhaustion. Speaking of specialized adaptation, she turned attention to the dimensional pocket containing the command entity. What happens with our contained friend? Maintaining indefinite dimensional isolation seems impractical despite research potential. Zara's expression suggested straightforward resolution preference. Shadow Saiyan methodology prioritizing conclusive neutralization over continued containment requirements. However, she deferred decision to Goku's assessment, recognizing B. Rotor strategic considerations beyond immediate tactical resolution. Specialized containment facility possible within dimensional nexus construction parameters, he evaluated after brief consideration. Allowing research opportunity without ongoing maintenance requirements. Though transportation requires careful implementation to prevent escape opportunity during transit process. You're suggesting taking it with you, drive. Vex translated accurately, perceptiveness matching her scientific acumen. When you return to wherever you came from originally. Dimensional Nexus Construction presents optimal containment environment, Goku confirmed. Though research access arrangements remain negotiable under potential collaboration protocols. The suggestion reintroduced previously meant ion cooperation possibilities, now strengthened through demonstrated mutual benefit rather than theoretical proposition. Dr. Vex considered implications with analytical thoroughness despite physical exhaustion. Which brings us back to our interrupted discussion regarding post-crisis arrangements, she noted pragmatically. Your intervention proved decisively beneficial during existential threat conditions. Future collaboration potential seems objectively advantageous despite jurisdictional considerations. Her directness matched Shadow Saiyan communication efficiency, addressing underlying propositions without diplomatic obfuscation despite significant power differential between negotiating parties. Goku appreciated the straightforward approach, recognizing value indicator beyond technical capabilities. Interdimensional nexus construction includes potential expansion nodes within compatible dimensional planes, he explained, creating simplified holographic representation through controlled energy manipulation. Specialized research facilities operating as connection points between primary nexus and dimensional variants provide mutual benefit opportunity beyond simple knowledge exchange. You're establishing interdimensional network, drive. Vex interpreted correctly, scientific understanding transcending vocabulary limitations. Connection points between reality planes allow wing-controlled access without requiring natural junction points or technological breach creation. Correct. Goku confirmed, impressed by her immediate comprehension despite conceptual framework limitations. Each node operates with specific parameters based on dimensional compatibility and established protocols. Potential inclusion remains subject to comprehensive assessment beyond crisis intervention evaluation. The careful qualification established negotiation parameters while maintaining advantageous position, offering potential inclusion without guaranteeing specific implementation timeline. Dr. Vex recognized the deliberate limitation, responding with equally measured proposition. My research facilities represent potential node location with established infrastructure advantages, she suggested. Professional objectivity masking personal ambition. Preliminary dimensional experimentation already operational despite technological limitations. Knowledge exchange acceleration POS Cybele through existing research protocols. Zara observed the negotiation with pragmatic assessment, Shadow Saiyan methodology recognizing value proposition beyond immediate tactical considerations. Demonstrated adaptation capacity suggests implementation potential despite developmental limitations. Controlled knowledge transfer within established parameters provides mutual advancement opportunity. Their discussion continued with increasing specificity, establishing preliminary protocol framework that would allow limited dimensional knowledge exchange while maintaining appropriate security boundaries. Unlike conventional political negotiations focused on immediate advantage maximization, this approach emphasized long-term developmental parameters with incremental implementation stages. As preliminary agreement parameters established acceptable foundation, Goku addressed practical implementation timeline considerations. Dimensional nexus construction continues through multiple development phases. Initial foundation establishment nearing completion, though comprehensive functionality requires additional component integration from specific dimensional coordinates. Estimated operational timeline, Dr. Vex inquired practically. Approximately 67 standard days for basic functionality implementation. He provided precise assessment rather than generalized estimation. Though interdimensional node connection capability requires additional development phases beyond initial activation parameters. The scientist processed this information with realistic expectatio and management despite evident eagerness for continued collaboration. My research facilities require significant reconstruction following invasion damage. Approximately similar timeline for restoring operational capacity with enhanced security parameters. Synchronized development opportunity, Zara observed practically. Parallel implementation providing mutual verification without requiring continuous direct oversight. The pragmatic assessment established reasonable operational framework, allowing collaborative development without demanding immediate resource allocation beyond current availability. Preliminary agreement established, attention returned to immediate logistical considerations following crisis resolution. The disruption field will maintain effectiveness for approximately 72 hours, Goku explained. Ensuring complete understanding of current tactical parameters. Sufficient duration for comprehensive neutralization confirmation and preliminary infrastructure stabilization. After deactivation, dimensional resonance patterns will gradually normalize, allowing standard operations resumption without continued intervention requirement. My colleagues concur. Donate recovery operations through established emergency protocols, Drive. Vex confirmed. Though explaining the neutralization methodology will require creative documentation given conventional scientific paradigm limitations. Simplified explanation focusing on practical implementation rather than theoretical framework should prove sufficient, Goku suggested practically. Comprehensive NDING requires conceptual evolution beyond immediate assimilation capability for most individuals. With crisis resolution complete and preliminary collaboration framework established, immediate departure preparation became necessary. The contained command entity required specialized transportation protocols to ensure secure transit between dimensional planes, while Goku's extended presence in Is specific dimension created subtle reality fabric strain requiring periodic absence for proper stability maintenance. Departure timeline. Dr. Vex inquired, professional composure masking personal response to imminent separation following intense shared experience. Optimal transition window opens within approximately 17 minutes, Goku calculated, monitoring dimensional stability parameters with specialized perception. Though return potential exists within reasonable timeframe once Nexus construction reaches appropriate development phase. All need specialized communication protocols. The scientist requested practically some method for progress updates and potential emergency contact if unexpected development occurs during separation period. Zara produced small crystal line device from dimensional storage pocket, offering it with pragmatic efficiency. Modified resonance transmitter calibrated to interdimensional frequency band. Limited communication capability but sufficient for basic status updates and priority notifications. Dr. Vex accepted the device with scientific curiosity partially masked by professional composure, examining its crystalline structure. With evident interest despite operational unfamiliarity. Usage parameters. Mental interface through direct contact, Zara explained, demonstrating proper implementation technique. Thought pattern. Translation rather than conventional data transmission. Limited range under normal conditions but junction point proximity provides amplification potential for interdimensional signal propagation. The technology transfer, while limited, represented significant advancement opportunity beyond crisis resolution benefits. Dr. Vex recognized both practical utility and research potential, securing device carefully while maintaining professional demeanor despite evident excitement. As departure preparations completed, Goku addressed final containment considerations for the captured command entity. The dimensional pocket required specialized reinforcement before interdimensional transit to prevent potential escape during reality plane transition. Multiple containment layer implementation necessary, he explained. Creating additional dimensional barriers around the existing pocket. Specialized frequency isolation preventing potential resonance exploitation during transit phase. A maintained primary containment while Goku established secondary protective parameters, their coordinated implementation demonstrating practiced efficiency developed through previous collaborative operations. The command entity remained securely isolated within nested dimensional fields, observable for research purposes while preventing potential escape or communication attempts. With preparation complete and departure window approaching optimal parameters, final communication exchange became appropriate. Dr. Vex regarded her interdimensional visitors with complex expression reflecting both scientific appreciation and personal connection developed through shared crisis resolution. I should express formal gratitude for intervention that prevented planetary civilization collapse, she street. Aided with characteristic directness beneath professional protocol. Though conventional acknowledgement seems inadequate given intervention scope and methodology, crisis presented mutual opportunity beyond simple resolution parameters. Goku responded with equal pragmatism. Dimensional network expansion benefits from strategically positioned nodes within compatible reality planes. Collaboration potential transcends immediate tactical considerations. The exchange reflected their established communication pattern. Practical assessment masked deeper connection developed through shared experience intensity. Dr. Vex nodded in acknowledgement, understanding implicit significance beyond stated content. 67 days then, she confirmed, establishing concrete reconnection parameter rather than indefinite separation. Sufficient time for reconstruction implementation and research protocol establishment. Dimensional stability parameters permitting, Goku qualified practically. Though H-nexus construction specifically addresses fluctuation mitigation through specialized containment architecture. Final preparations complete, they positioned themselves at precise coordinates for optimal dimensional transition implementation. Unlike their arrival through forced technological breach, departure would utilize natural dimensional folding techniques that minimized reality fabric straw. While ensuring stable transit parameters. The resonance transmitter allows priority communication if unexpected developments occur before scheduled return, Zara reminded, indicating the crystalline device drive. Vex had secured in specialized equipment compartment. Though operational discipline recommended given limited bandwidth availability. The scientist nodded in understanding, Profecio. Null restraint acknowledged despite evident enthusiasm for continued communication potential. Research parameters established with appropriate prioritization protocols. Only significant developments warrant transmission initiation. With final exchange complete, Goku began precise dimensional fold technique implementation. Unlike conventional teleportation that transferred matter through normal space, this approach temporarily separated reality planes to allow direct transition between dimensional coordinates. The methodology required sophisticated understanding beyond technological assistance. Consciousness-directed reality manipulation rather than equipment-dependent transportation. As dimensional fold initiated, reality fabric separated with elegant precision rather than forced disruption. The transition manifested visually as space folding inward around their position, temporarily revealing underlying cosmic structure normally imperceptible to conventional observation. Through this controlled aperture, Goku, Zara, and their contained prisoner transitioned between dimensional planes, the fold sealing seamlessly behind them with minimal reality fabric disruption. Dr. Vex remained at the transition site long after their departure, specialized equipment recording residual energy patterns for research purposes despite limited measurement capability. Her expression reflected contemplative assessment beyond immediate scientific curiosity. Recognizing fundamental paradigm shift the experience represented not merely for her research but for her dimension's civilization development trajectory. The encounter had demonstrated possibilities beyond conventional understanding, interdimensional reality confirmed through direct experience rather than theoretical hypothesis. More significantly, it established connection point with beings capable of manipulating dimensional fabric directly, offering advancement potential transcending normal developmental timelines. As she finally departed the junction point, securing collected data while planning research facility reconstruction, her thoughts focused on practical implementation rather than philosophical implications. 60s. Even days provided limited timeline for establishing proper research protocols, reconstructing damaged facilities, and developing appropriate documentation for inevitable oversight committee review. The crystalline communicator remained secured against her skin beneath protective laboratory attire. Constant reminder of connection beyond dimensional boundaries and advancement potential transcending conventional limitations. Whatever developments followed, Fundamental understanding had shifted irreversibly through direct experience that conventional science would struggle to categorize within established paradigms. Across dimensional boundaries, Goku and Zara emerged at predetermined coordinates within interdimensional junction point. The transition completed with minimal energy expenditure. Dimensional fold technique demonstrating significant efficiency improvement through practical experience application. Successful implementation, Zara acknowledged, maintaining command entity containment while assessing junction point stability parameters. Though return timeline seems ambitious given Nexus construction current phase requirements. Accelerated development possible through specialized implementation techniques. Goku responded, analytical mind already calculating optimization protocols beyond conventional construction methodology. The scientist's adaptation capacity suggests significant collaboration potential despite technological limitations. Agreed, Zara confirmed, Shadow Saiyan pragmatism recognizing value beyond immediate tactical consideration. Strategic positioning within compatible dimensional plane provides network expansion opportunity with minimal resource investment requirement. The end. Remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.